at the Sprinters' home in Pretoria yesterday. The Coronation Street actor Michael Lavelle has been charged with 19 sexual offences, including raping a child. The actor, who plays Kevin Webster, will appear in court in Manchester later this month. A £50,000 grant given to revive Bedford's High Street still hasn't been spent 9 months on. Bedford's was one of 12 towns across the country to take part in the pilot headed by retail expert Mary Portis. Lorna Hankin has more.
Only £3,500 has been spent by Bedford BID, which stands for Business Improvement District, since it was announced they were to receive the cash injection for the town. £1,500 of that money has been spent on postcards. Retail expert Paul Turner-Mitchell, who submitted Freedom of Information requests to see how the money is being spent, says the government promised a quick delivery of the bids and wants to know why it's not happening. Bedford BID says they're in no rush to spend the money.
Most Church of England leaders privately support gay marriage, according to the openly gay Dean of St Albans. The Very Reverend Dr Geoffrey John says there's a real gulf between the public morality of the Church and the views held behind closed doors. He's also been telling MPs he fears the Church of England is attempting to appease the Church in Africa to avoid creating a rift. Downing Street has criticised the apparent reluctance of retailers to comment publicly on the horse meat crisis. Sources at Number 10 have told the BBC that it isn't acceptable for the supermarkets to remain silent. Retailers say they will speak out once the Food Standards Agency releases the results of tests. That will happen later today, as Hugh Pym reports.
Food manufacturers and retailers were ordered to carry out tests by regulators after the horse meat scandal emerged. Some have already recalled products they found to be contaminated. Today, the Food Standards Agency will reveal the results of the industry-wide tests. Samples of beef products have been examined in laboratories for traces of horse meat. But retailers say that only about 30% of their products have so far been tested. Getting through all their processed beef ranges could take several weeks.
The weather dry and bright with a top temperature of 9 degrees Celsius, that's 48 Fahrenheit. There's more news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties. BBC Three Counties Radio, first for news.
Dear listener, this is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio, coming to you live from St George's Square in Luton, everybody. I can hear a collective cheer from your cars, your beds and all of your radios around. Are you listening on DAB? What? You didn't rush down to the local Comet or Rumbelows and get a DAB radio, you fools? Well, I think they open about 9 o'clock, or Rumbelows opens at about 1989. Go and get one and have a listen to us in digital quality. Coming up on this morning's show, lots of stuff, including police are preparing for the Luton Town Millwall game tomorrow. Hundreds of officers are going to be there. Will you be going? I'm going, my first ever football match. Whee! Rat fans! Tens of thousands of pounds was given to Bedford business leaders to revamp the high street as part of the Mary Portas pilot. Well, 9 months on, guess what? They haven't spent the cash. They've only spent a couple of grand. And some of that was on postcards, apparently. We will find out what's going on later. And yesterday, you may have got caught up in the delays on the Thames Link route. Engineers were working overnight to fix overhead power cables. This morning, there are still problems on the trains. We'll find out how it's going to affect you. You can come down to St George's Square if you want and say hello. We're by the fairground and opposite Sam's, the chicken shop. So, excellent idea to come down. Lots of ways to get in touch if you don't want to come and visit us. Facebook.com/BBC3CR. You can send us a cheeky text, 81333, start your text 3CR, put your name on the text please, or you can give us a call, 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Now, a major operation will get underway in Luton tomorrow ahead of the FA Cup tie between Luton Town and Millwall. Bedfordshire Police say around 300 officers will be used to police the fifth round game, including officers at train stations approaching the town. Chief Superintendent Mike Colborne says they're ready to deal with anyone intent on causing trouble with support from neighbouring forces.
We've obviously got to be mindful of the fact that there may well be people who use the match not for the purpose it's intended for. They're not coming as bona fide supporters. Actually, a few of those fans may be coming up with an intention to cause trouble. We are monitoring lots of intelligence around that. We're making sure that we've got plans in place. We will have visible police presence supported by public order police officers, really able to respond throughout Hertfordshire and throughout Bedfordshire.
Well, some pubs are opening earlier in Luton tomorrow to accommodate football supporters. But the Chief Superintendent says memories of violence at the FA Cup match between the two sides back in 1985 shouldn't be the main focus.
Things have changed. The policing of the events has become very specialised and very professional about what we do and how we do it. We've learnt clearly over those 3 decades about, how to police and how to deliver really good, effective operations to combat hooliganism, to deal with people who've been banned from football events, to eject them, to actually safely receive them into a town and give them places to drink.
Well, our reporter Justin Dealey can tell us about the match, being a bit of a Luton fan himself, and he's the club's announcer. And we're broadcasting from the BBC Three Counties bus. I'm here, and you're over there, Justin.
Hello, Ian. You well?
Do you have a nice holiday?
Very, very nice, thank you. You're coming to the game tomorrow, of course, aren't you?
Well, yes, I am coming to the game tomorrow. How long does a football game last?
90 minutes, plus injury time, so it can be 95.
But when I play FIFA on the Xbox, it's 8 minutes.
Forget about FIFA. This is the real deal.
Have I got to stay there for the whole game?
Yes, you have, yes.
I'm looking forward to it. How big a game is this?
Absolutely massive. Millwall 12th in the Championship, 3 leagues above Luton. It's the 5th round of the FA Cup. The FA Cup being the best competition anywhere on this planet. So far, Luton have made £450,000 from this cup run.
Hey, that's not bad, is it?
So the game, of course, live on Three Counties tomorrow, but live on ESPN. That's going to net the club £233,000 just for that game tomorrow. So it's a big deal. And, of course, the winners will be in the quarter-final. It's a massive, massive game.
But do Luton really stand a chance?
Yes, absolutely, every chance. I mean, if you look at the form table, you would say they've got every chance because Millwall haven't won away in the last 6 games. Luton have already beaten Wolves from the Championship at home. And, of course, they've beaten Premiership opposition in Norwich away. The first time a non-league side has done that since, 1989?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
Rolling off your tongue nicely. So anything could happen. It's the FA Cup. They have got every chance.
What is Luton, the town itself, doing in preparation?
Well,
I'm going to come and sit next to you. This is silly us talking over a bus.
It is a bit.
Come on.
Come and sit next to
me. There we go, good lad.
There we go. So we've heard about the police operation.
Yep.
A lot of people will obviously look back to 1985 and they would say, well, there was trouble at that game. I think it's really important we say today that yes, obviously, there was a lot of trouble back in 1985, but this is 2013. The police, what they've done, they are giving the Charlie Brown's pub to the Millwall supporters, so they'll come off the trains, they'll put them into the pub there, they'll then walk them to the ground. The police are also saying that anybody who hasn't got a ticket is to stay away from Luton because the atmosphere is going to be great tomorrow, but what you don't want are thousands of people walking around without tickets. So, big police operation. Some people, of course, question whether that would take away some of the money from this cup run, but the police, of course, making sure that everyone's going to be safe tomorrow.
Now, of course, it's on BBC Three Counties Radio, along with the MK Dons game. Tell us a little bit about that, please, Justin, it says here.
Yes, the MK Dons. The MK Dons, they're at home to Barnsley. Barnsley are a Championship club. Am I selling this to you?
Yeah, I'm sucked in,
yes,
totally.
OK, so Barnsley are a Championship club. They're 1 league above the Dons, but the Dons, they're going to fancy their chances because, again, they're at home, they've got the form, and it's a big game. You know, the winners, again, go into the quarter-finals, and I think in that game in particular, the Dons are the favourites to go through.
Another question.
Yes.
Is there anywhere around here we can get a cup of coffee at 6:15 in the morning? I am bugging for a coffee.
You see, I brought my own, you see. Well prepared. You see, I do this every day. You moan about being out. It's cold.
No.
I do it day in, day out, Ian.
You do it, and you do it very well. Thank you for that, Justin. We'll speak to you later on. After 8 this morning, we're going to be joined by Managing Director of Luton Town, Gary Sweet. Always a pleasure. And if you want to come and say hello to us, we're in St George's Square in Luton. Come and say hello. Don't touch me, but you can wave from a distance. You can touch Justin. He likes that. Oh, it's the Boy George fella. He's good, isn't he?
In your eyes all the way. If I listen to your lies, would you say I'm a man without conviction? I'm a man who doesn't know how to sell a contradiction. colours were like my dream. Red, gold and green. Red, gold and green. Come a, come a, come a, come a, come a chameleon. You come and go. You come and go. Loving would be easy if your colours were like my dream. Red, gold and green. Red, gold and green.
As soon as it come in. Morning, dear listener. This is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. We're coming live from, guess what? A bus. Yeah, that's right. We're in the middle of St George's Square in Luton on a big red bus. We're celebrating the fact that BBC Three Counties has actually entered the year 2003 and gone all digital DAB. Very exciting. You can hear us in crystal clear quality. If you want to come down and say hello, you can. I'm here. Gareth and Kelly Betts are here from the Introducing Show. Justin Dealey's here. Look... Looking very, very tanned, and I think still maybe a little bit drunk on that fine Mexican wine. Lots coming up on the show, but before all of that, let's go to Sophie Tyler and find out what's happening on the roads and trains.
Beds, hearts and bucks travel.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Not looking too bad out there at the moment. The roads are fairly clear on the whole. No major problems on the motorways. They do appear to be looking fairly good, actually, particularly the western stretch of the M25. Also the M1 looking good at the moment. And the usual delays not yet beginning to creep in. Looking good around the North Ortal Road at the A405 and through Buckingham as well. The A421 also moving nicely. Now don't forget, we still do have delays of around a half an hour on East Midlands trains heading in to London this morning, all following the overhead line problems at Radlett. Also affecting things on First Capital Connect as well, where there is still disruption between West Hampstead, Thameslink and Bedford. So do check before you travel. This really has been causing an awful lot of problems. So do check before you travel this morning. Sophie Tyler, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Sophie. Good morning. This is Friday the 15th of February. These are your headlines this morning on BBC Three Counties Radio. Around 300 officers are set to police tomorrow's FA Cup tie between Luton and Millwall, with many posted at train stations approaching Luton. Thameslink commuters face delays of up to an hour this morning as efforts to fix overhead lines at Radlett continue. In sport, Liverpool have work to do after they lost the first leg of their Europa League last 32 tie 2-0 at Zenit St Petersburg. I believe that's a football reference. The weather, I don't know. The weather today in Beds, Herts and Bucks, it's dry, bright, top temperature of 9 degrees. Let me tell you, in St George's Square, it's nowhere near 9 degrees at the moment. It's a little bit chilly. Coming up next, we'll find out where the Mary Portas money for Bedford has gone. 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio. Weekdays from 3. Local news.
Campaigners are holding a protest against a wind turbine that could be built near the Buckinghamshire village of Ford.
Discussion.
And we were told when he was 5 days old that the only way for him to have a life outside of a wheelchair would be to have a through-knee amputation at the age of 1.
Debate.
Coming up after 6, we've got an hour discussing business and finance. Later in the show, it's all about the entertainment world. It's the family and lifestyle debate. It's our politics panel discussing how politics affects us.
Roberto Perroni. Weekdays from 3 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Love Beds, Hearts and Bucks.
Love Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The long and winding road that leads to your door will never disappear. I've seen that road before. It always leads me here. Lead me to your door. The wild and windy night that the rain washed away, has left a pool of tears, crying for
Morning, Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio, coming live from St George's Square in Luton, and we're gonna go on the hunt for coffee in a little bit. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen soon. Now, you may remember that Bedford was announced as one of the towns which was going to be part of the Mary Portas pilot. It would receive money to revive its high street. Well, Mary Portas explained why something needed to be done.
We're losing shops. We're losing retailers, and what's ending up in some instances, we've got, practical ghost towns. At the end of 2008, we had about 6% of town, and it's not just local, it's town centres as well, shops that are vacant. By the end of 2010, that went up to about nearly 15%, doubling, and if that keeps up, we'll have town centres and high streets with a third of our shops just missing.
Well, 9 months on, and Bedford hasn't yet spent the £50,000 it was given. In fact, only £3,500 has been spent, 1.5 of that on postcards. Well, our reporter Serena Farrow spoke to various businesses in the town who weren't aware that money had been spent already.
I haven't seen any difference whatsoever. No leaflets, no posters, no information from anybody. No, I thought they were going to open an empty shop and put something in, which seemed a bit wishy-washy. But I have heard from Nelson in Lancashire that they had Mary Portas, and they asked all the people in the high street or the locals, what difference did it make? And they said they'd seen no difference in their takings whatsoever. Basically, it's a television show, isn't it? They still for sale notices in the high street looking horrible, and people have been bankrupt for like 20 years, and nothing seems to have been done, basically.
Apparently the camera store opposite you, they were there for 10 years and suddenly they've gone now as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You really need someone with a bit of common sense and a bit of get up and go. And unfortunately, overall, it comes from the top and they don't want to do anything. The car parks are empty. Before Christmas, I personally went to the car parks and looked to see how many cars there were. The top 2 stories empty, and this was like a week before Christmas. So why not get £1 from everyone, instead of having empty car parks?
We were told that the high street would start getting, fascias will start getting done, and some of them have. Next door, the Sports Aid, and some of the other shops further on down have started to change now, so looking better, helping other people come in.
Do you think it's worked, or is it too early to tell?
Too early to tell. Once it all starts and once they know what it's going to be spent on.
Some of it already has been spent, though, on marketing and customer service, apparently.
We have Bedford Bid, and I know Bedford Bid has done a lot of the marketing and for all the shop owners in the town, and Love Bedford have done the same thing, so it's quite good.
So you don't think that the Mary Portas money's really helped much at the moment?
Not really, to be honest.
You haven't seen any major difference?
No. Not really.
No. It was only £50,000, I suppose, for Bedford. You've got a lot of shops here.
Yeah, that's right. It's a lots of shop, and I think it's still not enough.
Have you seen anything that they've done with that money, visible?
Not really. The market around just seems being worse, and maybe it's only me, but I don't think really a lot better happen.
Mario, have you noticed a difference on the high street here?
Not at all.
So what were you expecting, to see changed?
Revamp of the high street. There's a few shops for empty that have been empty quite a while. Hopefully things will get better.
As far as you're concerned, you didn't think they'd spent any money at all?
Not at all, no. I think it's more of a celebrity thing, trying to revamp our old high street, basically.
James, you got a ticket for the game, yeah?
Well, we'll be following that a little bit later on and seeing more about why they've spent about £1,500 on postcards. Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. I'm just having a wander around St George's Square in Luton. I tell you what, it's flipping chilly. We're trying to find somewhere that does coffee. We all do in a second. One of the great things about being out and about is I get to see Justin Dealey working his magic. He always delivers gold. I don't know how he does it. I'm watching the master at work. Justin, you're over by the bus stop. You found someone already, haven't you?
Yeah, I have, Ian. I found a Luton supporter. What's your name, sir?
James.
James, you're going to be going to the big game tomorrow, Luton versus Millwall. Ian over there, who's probably going to pop across.
Hi,
right
James.
That's going to be his first ever game that he's going to tomorrow. He's looking forward to it. You being a big Hatter, can the town do it tomorrow? What do you think?
Yeah, easily about 3-1, I'd say.
3-1?
Yeah, easy.
Why are you so confident? Because on paper, of course, Millwall, they're in the Championship, they're 3 leagues above Luton. They shouldn't really have a chance. So why are you so confident they can do it tomorrow?
Because I think they're playing better than Millwall at the minute. Millwall's last game, they struggled. I think they got a defeat in their last game, so they're not playing too great.
And what about the atmosphere? Ian's first game. Here he comes right
James,
now.
this is nice to meet you. My first ever football match. I'm a little bit nervous. Should I be worried?
Nah, not if you're a Luton supporter.
I need some things I can shout and I can chant. Things that are clean. What kind of football chants are there?
Just come on, you Hatters will do, won't it?
Come on, you Hatters! Will that be all right?
What about Ole, 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 We Are the Town? Would that work? Would you give us a quick blast of that one? Ole, Ole, Ole?
Nice.
He's got some dignity, Justin.
Yeah,
Look, there's a whole queue of people over here. Let's go and see. Hello, people waiting for the bus. There's about a dozen people. Have we got any Luton Town fans here? I don't know. Is this mic on? Have we got any Luton Town football fans? That was awkward, wasn't it? Hey, that was a little bit awkward. Thank you very much, James. Thank you, Justin. It's lovely to see your magic at work.
No, it's fine.
I mean, how does he do that? He can get a story out of virtually nothing. We are in St George's Square in Luton, celebrating the fact that BBC Three Counties Radio is now live on DAB radio, digital quality. If you want to come down and say hello, you can do. We're by the big fairground. I've got a thing about fairgrounds. The last time I went to a fair, I got beaten up quite severely. Yeah, because I sat next to the wrong girl on a ride. Oh, it got very, very nasty. This fair, of course, though, looks fantastic and family-friendly, and I'm sure provides excellent fun for everybody. If you want to come down and say hello, you're more than welcome to. Don't touch me. That's the thing. Please don't touch me. I've got a little funny thing about that. Shall we have a quick look at some of the front pages of the newspapers? We're on a big red bus. It's very exciting. It's all kind of... You should see what's happening in the background, though. The whole thing will fall apart at some point. The front page of the Telegraph. From 2012 stardom to murder trial. This is the story that we broke yesterday. Blade Runner, who united disabled and able-bodied sport, is accused of shooting dead his girlfriend. Let's have a look at The Guardian. It's all Oscar Pistorius, really. Oscar Pistorius charged with shooting girlfriend dead at his home, and horse meat found in fresh beef as tests overwhelm laboratories. The Independent, the dark side of Pistorius. The Times, Pistorius murder hearing today. Cameron vows to cut benefits to migrants. Those two stories are not connected in any way whatsoever. They are separate stories. EU warns that restrictions would be unlawful. The Daily Mail. Girls, guns, and the dark side of the Blade Runner. And then there's the story about Oscar Pistorius again, is on there. And victimised for blowing the whistle on NHS chiefs. Man who defied gagging order faces ruin. The Daily Express, Oscar Pistorius. Also, new EU tax will hammer pensions. And The Sun really have done something quite incredible. So it's the Oscar Pistorius story. The headline, 3 shots, screams, silence. 3 more shots. Blade Runner murders lover on Valentine's. And then what they've done, because his girlfriend was a model, they put a picture of her in her pants on the front. I think that's maybe possibly crossing a line ever so slightly. I'm not sure how I feel about that. This is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio, 08459 455 555. Let's get the latest from the jam cams now. Tyler!
Hearts and Bucks travel.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Well, still not looking too bad out there on the roads this morning. The motorways do seem to be coping fairly well on the whole, and the usual delays not yet beginning to creep in around the A405 at the moment. Now on the trains, we are still looking at delays, I'm afraid. East Midlands services still suffering with delays around half an hour, heading both in and out of St Pancras this morning, really causing problems at the moment. It's all following the roadworks, still held because of the overhead line problems at Radlett, also affecting, of course, First Capital Connect services between West Hampstead, Thameslink and Bedford as well. Last couple of days, this has really been making things very difficult in the morning, so do check before you travel. Everything else on the whole, though, really not looking too bad at the moment. Sophie Tyler, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Getting beds, hearts and bugs talking.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. With the 6:30 headlines, I'm Catherine Boyle. Around 300 officers are set to police tomorrow's FA Cup tie between Luton and Millwall, with many posted at train stations approaching Luton. Thameslink commuters face delays of up to an hour this morning as efforts to fix overhead lines at Radlett continue. And the Paralympic gold medalist Oscar Pistorius will appear in court in South Africa this morning, charged with murdering his girlfriend.
Beds, Hearts and Bucks Sport.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Gareth Bale scored 2 free kicks from long range to help Tottenham beat Lyon 2-1 in the first leg of their Europa League last 32 tie last night. Bale admits he's been working on his technique for taking free kicks.
Yeah, I've been practicing for ages now, and it's some of them things I think if you keep practicing, then it does come off in a match game. When anyone steps up for a free kick, they want to hit the target and score, and lucky enough, 2 of them went in tonight.
Oscar scored a late winner for Chelsea in their 1-0 victory at Sparta Prague. Liverpool have work to do after they lost 2-0 at Zenit St Petersburg. And Newcastle striker Papis Cisse had 2 goals disallowed as his side were held to a goalless draw by Metalist Kharkiv. MK Dons manager Carl Robinson will start Alan Smith up front in tomorrow's FA Cup 5th round clash against Championship club Barnsley. It's expected that Luke Chadwick will keep his starting place on the side and link up with Smith for the first time since October 2012.
Last time them two played together as a 2 was Scunthorpe away. Shows you how many injury problems we've had. We won 3-0. Chaddy scored 2 that day and Smithy scored the other. I'll take that. I'll take that now.
Luton Town play Millwall tomorrow at Kenilworth Road, and it will be a sellout game. Manager Paul Buckle says it will also be a significant one.
Well, yeah, it's not about me, really. You know, it's about the football club. Of course, everybody said, would you change this for promotion? I would. I can't do this. This is the biggest game for me because it's the next one, and I mean that, and it's the biggest one for the club because there's a great opportunity to make some history.
Watford are in league action away to Birmingham tomorrow in the Championship. Defender Tommy Hoban is an injury doubt for the Hornets. And that's your latest news and sport. More from me at 7 o'clock.
Hey, Catherine.
Yeah.
We're down here in the bus, and I'll be honest, we are having a really, really good time.
Yeah, it sounds
Even
great.
though it's freezing cold. Sorry, that's a bit rude.
I've just enjoyed a coffee.
Yeah. Are you going to come down and hang out with us?
No.
Hit the button, Ollie.
Call 08459 455 555.
08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
How rude. We're going to do our best to get Boyle down here. Boyle in the bag. Now, this is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Coming up in the next half an hour. If you were travelling between Bedford and London yesterday, then your journey probably took a little bit longer than usual. It was because a kilometre of overhead cables came down on Wednesday. Well, this morning, First Capital Connect's reporting there are still delays. We were told yesterday it'd be sorted by 6 o'clock this morning. All right? I'll be speaking to them in a few minutes to find out what's going on. But if you're wondering why it sounds a little bit weird this morning, nothing unusual really, but it's because we're broadcasting live from St George's Square in Luton from a bus. The reason we're doing that is we're celebrating the fact that BBC Three Counties Radio is now on digital. So if you've got a DAB radio, retune it now, and fingers crossed, bit of luck, you should be able to pick us up. We've been broadcasting live around the clock for 24 hours. Well, it's 21 and a half hours. It'll be 24 hours with the time we finished. Here's a highlight of what's been going on.
24 hours in Beds, Hearts and Bucks.
The late shift is coming to an end here at the Body Shop, and since we started at 3:15, some 300 doors and bonnets have been produced. Frank, you've been here a number of years, haven't you? I'm going to say it, 37 years you have worked here.
Yes, that's true. It doesn't seem like it, but yeah, it is 37 years since I started, and obviously the place has changed enormously since I began.
You only look about 42. When did you start? When you were 4?
I think it was about 5.5 to be honest, but it's amazing how quickly the time goes.
We've had over the last year 9 new babies, and we have 3 or 4 more in the pipeline that obviously we can't confirm or deny at this stage. But yes, a very fertile WI, and we do joke there's something in the cake.
That's Liz Wright, founder of Bedford's newest WI, the Scone Roses.
We just call ourselves the Blood Runners.
The Blood Runners.
It's pretty explicit.
And your phone does go in the middle and it can go through.
Yeah.
So what, do you keep your leathers by the bed, do you? I mean, that sounded entirely inappropriate, didn't it?
Not quite. Not quite.
What do you see?
But close.
Yeah, you literally straight out into your kit.
Yeah, it probably takes 10 minutes.
And you're on the bike.
Yeah.
Welcome, my son, to the Abbey. I hear you're here for the pilgrimage later on, is that right?
I am here for the pilgrimage, yes. And what shall I call you?
Well, I'm the novice master here. Yes, Brother Stephen.
Brother Stephen. Do I get to kind of knock about, play a bit of football, maybe pop to the local inn for a half?
On feast days, we do have some jollity, yes.
Jollity, you've got a devilish glint in your eye.
Well, you still have to be up at crack of dawn.
Doesn't matter what
prayers.
condition you're in.
Well, the mead does flow these days.
I'm bringing this over to you two. It's a falling in love cocktail. Not that you need it by the sounds of things, because you're in love already. So tell us what's happened tonight then, because I see a big sparkly ring on your finger, Donatella.
Yes, well, we had an engagement ring and a proposal in Venice, and then unfortunately we were burgled and the beautiful ring disappeared, and today Chris just surprised me with a similar one, lovely ring, and I didn't expect it. I just pulled it out of his pocket and proposed again and asked me if I would marry him. So it's a re-engagement ring.
And you said yes, I take it?
I said yes again.
You said you wanted me to write a love song. Now that you're gone, I finally wrote one for you. I thought I'd maybe write it in a letter, but it's so much better when I sing it out for you.
So I put my pen to paper, pulled my heart back off the shelf. With you on my mind, my little love song wrote itself, and it goes.
Ooh, 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 baby, got a brand new melody. 'Cause you don't mean jack to me. Now can you sing that back to me? Ooh, 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 baby, are you listening to me? I know you don't mean jack to me. Now can you sing that? You know you had me wrapped around your finger, like the ring I gave you, but you gave it back to me, hoping that you like this song I made you. I'm gonna serenade you, and all your neighbors too.
So I put my pen to paper, pulled my heart back off the shelf. But with you on my mind, my little love song wrote itself, and it goes.
Ooh, 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 baby, got a brand new melody. 'Cause you don't mean jack to me. Now can you sing that back to me? Ooh, 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 baby, are you listening to me? I know you don't mean jack to me. Now can you sing that?
But you never thought that I'd be moving on. I know that you were smiling while you did me wrong. Did you wanna break me, take me, shake me any way you want? Now there's nothing left to do but to sing it back to you.
And it goes. Ooh, 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 baby, got a brand new melody. Don't mean jack to me. Now can you sing that back to me? Ooh, 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 baby, are you listening to me? I know you don't mean jack to me. Now can you sing that back to me? Sing it, sing it, sing it back to me. Sing it back to me. Sing it, sing it back to me.
Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. You should see what's happening. I'm on this this bus in St George's Square in Luton. I'm surrounded by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people, all branded up in BBC stuff, and they look fantastic. As soon as I start speaking into the microphone, they all jump and are just trying to remember the last thing they said. Was it rude? Is there a chance it could have gone out on air? We're okay so far. We haven't broken any rules. Now, on Wednesday, overhead lines came down at Radlett, leaving passengers stranded and causing major delays to East Midlands trains from St Pancras to Luton and First Capital Connect services from Bedford to Brighton. Well, Network Rail has been doing work overnight to try and get the lines up and running. First Capital Connect have tweeted this morning there may be delays of up to an hour. Paul Oxley is from First Capital Connect. Morning, Paul.
Good morning, Iain.
What's going on?
Right, so Network Rail took possession of the line again last night, hoping to make the final leg of the repair works. Unfortunately, they have hit a few issues. They have made very good progress, but it does look like they are going to have to take possession again tonight for about 6 hours overnight to make the, hopefully, final end of the repairs.
So yesterday we were told everything will be fine by 6 o'clock this morning. What are we looking at now?
Right, so what we are running a train service through the affected stations, but as you correctly pointed out, there will be delays of up to 60 minutes as, like I say, we are running through...
Worse than yesterday, Paul.
Absolutely. No, and I completely agree with you, Ian. It's not a great situation for our customers, and I could, really do just heartily apologise for the disruption they faced for the best part of this week. It's not a fantastic situation to be in. I completely agree.
How did you get it so wrong yesterday? You said yesterday we had delays of 15, 30 minutes. It'll be ready by 6 o'clock this morning. Now it's not ready. It won't be ready for another day at least, and delays of an hour.
Well, as you correctly pointed out, Network Rail were carrying out the repairs. They are in charge of the infrastructure. We carry our guidance over when these occurrences happen through Network Rail. Their estimation that repairs would be done and ready by this morning, but unfortunately that does not look like it can be the case.
Okay, so do we have a time that we're looking forward to when the services will be running?
For estimation, the repairs should be made overnight tonight. So over the weekend, we should be seeing a good timetable, and our commuter base should hopefully be seeing a normal timetable for Monday morning as well for their commuter journeys.
So what services are running and what services are affected this morning?
We are running services through all of our stations, so we will be running a revised timetable. Like you correctly stated, there will be delays of over 60 minutes, but the key point is there will be a train service running through the affected stations.
So, but do we know? Do you know which? Because there were a lot of cancellations yesterday. Are we looking at cancellations again today?
There will be some cancellations, Ian. What I do urge customers to do is to check our website before travelling, firstcapitalconnect.co.uk.
Are we any closer to finding out what happened, what went wrong?
No. As I've said previously, once the full focus is on making these repairs, and then an investigation will be launched by Network Rail into what caused the overhead lines to come down.
Paul, yesterday we spoke to a lot of people, and some people were a little bit annoyed, but they were kind of patient and were saying, well, actually, no, it's, you yourself, Paul, we thought did an excellent job coming on and apologising and explaining. What would you say to them now, knowing that this is going to go on for even longer?
I would say I completely agree with our customers. It really is a very difficult situation to be in. This is not a situation that we would like to put our customers to be in. We strive to put the best service possible, and we're not delivering on that. And like I said, we really are sorry for the disruption they have faced this week. It's not acceptable, and I would urge every customer that has been affected this to use our website to go through the delay repay compensation scheme to get the amount of their journey back.
Paul, listen, it's a pleasure to talk to you. We appreciate your time. Thank you very much. That's Paul Oxley there from First Capital Connect. Again, if you've been affected by this, you can give us a call, 08459 455 555, and let us know. I thought Paul has been doing an excellent job of coming on and explaining, and we appreciate that. And yesterday, when he said, it'll be fine, Friday morning, 6 o'clock, it'll all be fine, that sounded fair enough. Looks like it's going to go on a bit longer. I was saying off air yesterday, I don't want to brag. I was saying off air yesterday, this is going to go on till the weekend, probably till Monday. I did say that, so I kind of got that one right. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. Also, we're in St George's Square this morning in Luton, so if you want to come down, there's a massive fairground has rocked up, and there's a ride here, the Mega Swing, okay, and the warning says no food or drink, no smoking, no chewing gum. You can't chew gum on a fairground ride. It's political madness gone wrong. No, hang on. It's whatever it is. It's something. It's very disappointing. Anyway, we're by the fairground. We're in a big red bus. Come down and say hello. I'm looking at my watch. 16 minutes until the coffee shop opens, ladies and gentlemen. 16 minutes. And I believe that Roberto Perrone has set the precedent of buying his team. How many people were working on Roberto's show, though? 5. He set the precedent, has he? That's going to be about 13 quid. Blimey. Let's get the travel news. Sophie Tyler.
Beds, Hearts and Bucks travel.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Due to the ongoing overhead line problems at Radlett, we still have delays of 30 minutes on East Midlands trains heading in to St Pancras this morning. Because of this, there's also disruption on First Capital Connect in West Hampstead, Thameslink and Bedford as well, and between Luton and Sutton. So do check before you travel. This really has been causing an awful lot of problems recently. Everything else actually not looking too bad out there on the roads. Very clear out there at the moment. All seems to be coping fairly well on the cameras. But if you spot anything, do be sure to let us know. Sophie Tyler, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much, Sophie. Morning, it's Friday the 15th of February, it's 6:45. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Around 300 officers are set to police tomorrow's FA Cup tie between Luton and Millwall, with many posted at train stations approaching Luton. Thameslink commuters face delays of up to an hour this morning as efforts to fix overhead lines at Radlett continue. In sport, Gareth Bale scored 2 long-range free kicks to help Tottenham beat Lyon 2-1 in the first leg of their Europa League last 32 tie. Coming up, my nanny Eileen's going to be on the show. She's going to be telling us exactly what she thinks of this week's introducing track. But before that, let's get the weather. Elizabeth Rossini.
Beds, Hearts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hello, a very good morning to you. Well, it's all good news on the weather front, I have to say, today. There are no weather fronts, so it's going to be fine and dry. We've got temperatures at a rather chilly 2 or 3 degrees, actually, at the moment across much of the 3 counties. So it is a chilly start to the day, but it will feel quite spring-like, I suspect. Fine and dry. Some decent spells of brightness and sunshine out there. Lighter winds than yesterday. The temperatures, I have to say, probably not quite as high, but still up to 8 or 9 degrees actually in Welwyn Garden City, Stevenage, Leighton Buzzard and Tring as well. That's 48 in Fahrenheit if we do see that 9 degrees. So it'll feel nice and pleasant, I suspect, in the sunshine. As we head into this evening and overnight, it will be a colder night than last night was. Temperatures dipping below freezing, I suspect, and some ground frost into tomorrow as well, as some mist and fog patches too. So the mist and fog, I think, lingering on into tomorrow morning. It will eventually clear. It will be a slightly cloudier day though, I suspect. Certainly a bit of cloud around through the afternoon as well. A few spells of brightness around. Temperatures nicely up to 8 or even 9 degrees again. That's 48 in Fahrenheit. In fact, through the weekend it's going to be fine and dry, set fair all weekend really. The temperature's not quite as high on Sunday, probably peaking at around 6 or 7 degrees. We'll see an easterly breeze as well, so it'll feel a touch cooler, but still some good spells of sunshine. The signs are it is going to turn colder again into next week, so do make the most of the brightness and the sunshine while it lasts. That's the forecast.
This Saturday, it's an FA Cup special on Three Counties Sports. Luton are at home to Millwall in the early kick-off.
O'Donnell has time, looks up, got it, and in! Luton has scored! The substitute, Scott Rednell!
And MK Dons face Barnsley at Stadium MK.
It's going to be a fourth goal! Darren Potter makes it 4-0 to League One MK Dons!
With both hoping to put themselves in the hat for the quarter-final.
Unbelievable here at Loftus Road!
Three Counties Sports, Saturday from 12 on BBC Three Counties Radio. Love mornings.
Love Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Regular listeners to the show will know that my grandparents, both sides of my family, have long since passed away, and it's kind of left me feeling a bit lonely and a bit left out. Well, a couple of months ago, a wonderful lady called Eileen called up the show, and we kind of clicked, and I asked her to be my adoptive Nanny Eileen. And you said yes, didn't you, Nanny Eileen?
I did, and congratulations on going digital.
Do you know what going digital means, Nanny Eileen?
I do, and you sound loud and clear.
Have you got a DAB radio?
Yes.
Oh, because in the past you'd never actually listened to my show or the station, had you?
I had quite a long time ago when my husband was alive. There's a sort of... yes. But now I can listen
You're
to
right?
it. Yeah, fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
A little choke in your voice. Now. You don't need to be sad on the radio. We're having a laugh.
Oh, no.
But so you've been listening a little bit. Are you enjoying it?
Yes, very much.
Good. What have you been up to this week? Anything exciting?
I just went for a walk over the heath with greyhounds and my friends back to Royston Rugby Club for a beer, and yeah, it was good.
I moved house, Nanny Eileen.
I know, congratulations. How did Velvet settle in?
Velvet, my little cat, she was stuck in the car for 6 hours with the fish. Luckily, they both survived. And she has to be shut in now for about 4 weeks.
Yes,
but she's doing all right. She started wandering around the house. I found her downstairs this morning, so that's good. Anyway, listen, we haven't got time for all this. You're here for a very important reason.
Yes.
BBC Introducing is a show at Three Counties where lots of young unsigned bands and singers, songwriters and whatever, they send in their songs and they get played out on a Saturday night. Are you ready to listen to one of the tracks from this week's show?
I'm all ears.
OK, well, listen, it's called Lonely Soldier. It's by Maisie Berry, who's from Hertfordshire. Shall we have a listen, Nanny Eileen? Here we go.
Lonely soldier, won't you let me take you there? You shine so bright, you're like an angel to my eyes, my eyes, my eyes, my eyes, my eyes. 'Cause I've been looking for a while and I can't find your smile. I'm a good girl, don't you know? We go round and around, back to front, and then we're upside down. I don't really like you, it's just the things that you do. Lonely daughter, won't you let me take your hand? Let me show you the life that seems so distant in another land. A land, a land, a land, a land. 'Cause I've been looking for a while and I can't find your smile. I'm a good girl, don't you know? We go round and around, back to front, and then we're upside down. I don't really like you, it's just the things that you do, that you do, you do, you do. 'Cause I've been waiting for a while, and if you can't make me smile, then I guess that I'll have to go. We go round and around, back to front, and then we're upside down. I don't really like you, it's just the things that you do.
Well, there we go. That was Maisie Berry and Lonely Soldier. Nanny Eileen, what did you think to that?
It's a little bit sad, wasn't it?
It was a bit sad. It was a bit maudlin.
Yes. But
Oh, it's taken us to a shadowy place, isn't it?
it has. It really has. Yes.
But
Yes.
sometimes that's the beauty of music, isn't it?
Oh,
Is that it can take us, it can change our moods and affect us powerfully like that.
Well, this is why I love so many different forms of music. Yes, that was quite deep and dark, actually.
Have you got any, Maisie Berry? Have you got any sort of advice for her, Nanny Eileen? Words of wisdom?
Well, she was expressing her thoughts, wasn't she? Which is again what music is about. You can express your emotions through music.
Have you ever written a song, Nanny Eileen?
No.
Would you like to one day?
No.
Oh,
no,
you don't
it's
fancy
not
writing a song,
something
that's
that
a shame.
appeals. But
Have you got anything fun planned this weekend, Nanny Eileen?
Well, not tomorrow because I live quite near to the football ground, so I'll be out early getting the cat food and back indoors and battening down the hatches more than slightly.
You do
But
that.
it's
All right, Nanny
fun
Eileen,
to
listen, have a love.
But it's fun to hear all the cheers going up for Luton.
Look, are you a big fan of Luton?
Of course I am. I went to a friendly match.
Nanny Eileen, have a lovely weekend. I will
Thank
speak
you,
to you
and
soon.
you.
Lots of love.
Yes,
Thank you
and
very
you.
much.
Bye,
Now,
bye.
That was bye-bye, my love. That was Maisie Berry. That was Nanny Eileen. The song was Maisie Berry. It's a BBC Introducing track. BBC Introducing is on Saturday evening from 8 o'clock. This week, it's presented by my tea maker, Kelly Betts.
Hi, how's your tea?
Yeah, well, it hasn't happened yet. BBC Introducing. I've never actually listened. What happens on it?
You've not listened?
I mean, sorry, do that again. BBC Introducing, I listen to it every week. It's one of my favourite shows. But for those who haven't listened, what happens on it?
So it's a show for unsigned bands. So we have live sessions, full bands, and unplugged. But you know this already because you listen.
Listen to it all the time, yep.
Of course. We have about 5 bands pop in and out. It's just fun.
BBC Introducing, it's just fun. Kelly Betts, what time's it on?
Hey, 8 o'clock. Saturday night. Saturday night, 8
Yeah, it's
o'clock.
best to talk when the microphone's near your mouth. That's the little tip that I've got. This is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio, coming live from St George's Square in Luton. That was a lovely song from Maisie Berry, but it's all left us in a slightly sad place. So why don't we have some fun with the Beach Boys?
Well, East Coast girls are hip. I really dig those styles they wear. And the Southern girls with the way they talk, they knock me out when I'm down there. The Midwest farmers' daughters really make you feel alright. And the Northern girls with the way they kiss, they keep their boyfriends warm at night. I wish they all could be California. I wish they all could be California. I wish they all could be California girls. The West Coast has the sunshine and the girls all get so tan. I dig a French bikini on Hawaiian Island by a palm tree in the sand. I've been all around this great big world and I've seen all kind of girls. Yeah, but I couldn't wait to get back in the States, back to the cutest girls in the world. I wish they all could be California. I wish they all could be California. I wish they all could be California
The Beach Boys in the middle of February? Who'd have thunk it? Seriously, you can't go wrong with a little bit of the Beach Boys and those sunshine harmonies from California. That's what a normal DJ would say. I can't do that kind of stuff. Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number. We may be out and about in St George's Square saying hello to all the lovely people that are coming up to us and some of the not so lovely people. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. It's early in the morning. We're going to attract the nutter, to be honest. But some nice people have come up as well. But you can still give us a call. Before we speak to you, though, let's get the latest on the roads. Here's Sophie Tyler.
Beds, Hearts and Bucks travel.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Starting to look busy out there at the moment. Heading east through Harlow, Elizabeth Way is blocked due to an accident between Flex Meadow and St Catherine's Way. North Orbital Road at the A405 also fairly heavy, just approaching the M25 junction 21A roundabout. And the Barnet Bypass also heavy, where you'd expect heading south to Stirling Corner and the Watford Bypass. Still have delays of 30 minutes heading into King's Cross St Pancras this morning following the overhead problems at Radlett, also causing disruption as well on First Capital Connect between West Hampstead, Thameslink and Bedford. Sophie Tyler, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much, Sophie. Coming up in the next hour, more on how that Mary Portas money was spent in Bedford. And there are two big football matches tomorrow, Luton Town and MK Dons. You going to go to either of them? I am.
Getting beds, hearts and bugs talking.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning, it's 7 o'clock. I'm Catherine Boyle. The headlines: 300 police at Luton Millwall, Thameslink delays for up to an hour, and the mystery of Bedford's Porter's Pounds.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Bedfordshire Police say around 300 officers will be working on tomorrow's FA Cup tie between Luton and Millwall, including officers at train stations approaching Luton. Chief Superintendent Mike Holborn is determined there'll be no repeat of the violence that marred the FA Cup match between Luton and the London side in 1985.
Things have changed. The policing of the events has become very specialised and very professional about what we do and how we do it. We've learnt clearly over those 3 decades about, how to police and how to deliver really good, effective operations to combat hooliganism, to deal with people who've been banned from football events, to eject them, to actually safely receive them into a town and give them places to drink.
Thameslink commuters are being warned to expect more delays and cancellations this morning as efforts to fix overhead lines at Radlett continue. First Capital Connect had hoped to have services back to normal by now, and we will keep you up to date in the course of the morning. In the meantime, the operator's spokesman Paul Oxley has this message for passengers.
We really are sorry for the disruption they have faced this week. It's not acceptable, and I would urge every customer that has been affected this to use our website to go through the delay repay compensation scheme to get the amount of their journey back.
Oscar Pistorius has arrived at court in South Africa, where he'll stand charged with murdering his girlfriend. Reva Steenkamp was found with gunshot wounds at the athlete's home in Pretoria yesterday. The Coronation Street star Michael Lavelle, who plays Kevin Webster, has been charged with 19 sexual offences, including raping a child. He's due to appear in court in Manchester at the end of the month. Bedford's business leaders have yet to spend the £50,000 they were given 9 months ago as part of the Mary Portas pilot. Only £3,500 has been spent by members of the Business Improvement District scheme, of which £1,500 was used to buy postcards. Bedford shopkeeper Sylvia Mitchell says she hasn't noticed any difference.
No leaflets, no posters, no information from anybody. No, I thought they were going to open an empty shop and put something in which seemed a bit wishy-washy. Basically, it's a television show, isn't it? There's still for sale notices in the high street looking horrible, and people have been bankrupt for like 20 years, and nothing seems to get done, basically.
Most Church of England leaders privately support gay marriage, according to the openly gay Dean of St Albans. The Very Reverend Dr Geoffrey John told MPs yesterday he fears the Church of England is attempting to appease the church in Africa, but that behind closed doors, the majority of clerics believe there should be some kind of recognition or blessing ceremony for civil partnerships. In sport, Gareth Bale scored 2 long-range free kicks to help Tottenham beat Lyon 2-1 in the first leg of their Europa League last 32 tie last night. And as for the weather, dry and bright with a top temperature of 9 degrees Celsius, that's 48 Fahrenheit. There's more news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties. BBC Three Counties Radio. First for news.
Good morning, dear listener. Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. There's nothing I enjoy more on a Friday morning than ordering the work experience boy to the latest, nearest coffee chain that does pay its tax and getting a big round of coffees in. Thank you, Hugo. Thank you indeed. Now, coming up between now and 8 o'clock, will you be going to see Luton Town or MK Dons in the 5th round of the FA Cup this weekend? I'm off to see the Hatters. Who are the Hatters, Justin?
Luton Town.
OK, good. Thanks. It's good to know that. I didn't have a clue. Hundreds of police will be in Luton ahead of the game. Tens of thousands of pounds was given to Bedford business leaders to revamp the high street as part of the Mary Portas pilot. Well, 9 months on, guess what? They haven't spent the cash. Well, they spent some of it on postcards. What do you think the money should be spent on? And throughout the last 24 hours, our reporters have been following the production of the vans at the Vauxhall plant in Luton. Later on, reporter Sophie Solaria is going to be there to tell us how things are progressing. 08459
BBC
455
Three Counties Radio.
555. The way this is working, you may notice the odd little tick and flicker and little stumble is we're doing this remotely. We're live on a bus, and there are far too many people here. I don't even know what you're doing here. But I don't. So this is being controlled from the studio. So if there are a little delay or, something goes wrong, blame it on Ollie, the work experience boy. Now, police say that no one should travel to Luton tomorrow if they haven't already got a ticket for the sellout game against Millwall. The last time the two sides met in the FA Cup in Luton was in 1985 when they reached the quarter-final. Luton won 1-0 and went through to the semi-final thanks to a Brian Steen goal. But violence broke out. Here's a reminder of what happened.
Football violence erupted with renewed and even greater intensity last night. There was rioting at Luton's FA Cup tie against Millwall. Play was held up for...
And here comes another wave of police, about 150 police, charging across the ground to try and contain that outbreak.
They just jumped over the railings, got onto the pitch, and then the coppers put them in our end.
Yeah, and they come in with lumps of wood and knives and that.
Yeah, the coppers didn't even search them. Didn't even search them for the wet in the ground.
They beat me over the head with a knife.
And certainly we've got, at the moment, still 300 or 400, and there all seats are being ripped up, and the seats are coming out on that far side of the field now. I can see them being thrown, orange seats whistling through like large plates, and fans now dispelling because those things that they strike you, they really are painful. Absolutely disgraceful scenes. Oh, and we've got a fight on that far side of the field. Police at the moment are involved. A dog has got hold of one of the fans there. He won't let him go. Fights away to our left. We've got seats being thrown away to our right. This is what we feared, of course.
One particular instance, one of our officers was struck by a missile and certainly collapsed unconscious. One of our constables went to his aid. He started to render first aid, and whilst this was going on, he found himself still being kicked whilst he was trying to render this assistance.
This is a national problem which faces us all. It requires national answers that involve us all. The Right Honourable Lady is still talking about symptoms. What is she going to do about the causes?
Well, Kevin Barrett is the chair of the Luton Supporters Club and joins me now. Morning, Kevin.
Morning, Ian.
Have you got any concerns about the sides meeting?
I don't think so. I think, this goes back to the 80s. Obviously there was a serious problem at that time. We've certainly met Millwall since then, albeit in league games, and there was no trouble. I think, obviously, given the fact that this has been highlighted, the police are right to be aware and on alert about it. But I think things have moved on a lot since the 80s.
Do you think the Hatters can do it?
Well, I think if you'd have asked anybody, could we beat Wolves and could we beat Norwich? Most fans would have said probably not, and I think exactly the same thing applies with Millwall. They're coming there. They'll be the favourites. Particularly with Luton's recent run of bad form in the league, but who knows? We have shocked in the last two rounds. There's no reason to believe that we can't do it again in this round. But it is going to be tough, and it will be another shock, I think, if we do go through.
Kevin, I've never been to a football match in my entire life. I'm coming on Saturday, my first ever football match. Is this a good one to go to? Is it going to be exciting?
I think so. Yeah. I think despite all the build-up and what have you about the trouble, the atmosphere in Kenilworth Road for these big games is always electric. And if it's a good battle, Millwall don't sort of take the game by the scruff of the neck and start running away with the game, then yeah, I think it's going to be very exciting. If it matches, even in part, the results that we had against Wolves and Norwich, then it's an excellent match for a newbie to come along to.
Excellent, Kevin. Listen, I was having a little look on Twitter last night, kind of trying to get the feel for the match, and there were I saw a lot of fans saying this is great that they're doing so well here, but we're suffering in the league when really Luton Town should be concentrating more on the league. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think I think that's absolutely right. It is a distraction now. Whether that is having a negative impact on the league results, it is difficult. It's difficult to say. What the link is there, but the worry is that the key objective, both of the football club and of the fans, is to get promotion out of the conference and get back into the Football League. And the FA Cup, while it's nice and it is a distraction, if it's distracting the players and keeping us from reaching our primary aim, then the sooner we're out, the better.
Kevin, listen, thank you very much. Have a good day tomorrow. I'm going to be there. I'm going to bring my big foam hands with me. I believe that's what's meant to be done. I've still got them from the Gladiators days. Now, moving on, Milton Keynes Dons are also in action because they take on Barnsley at home in the 5th round of the FA Cup tomorrow with a 3 p.m. kick-off. Paul Harris is a big MK Dons fan. Paul, what can we expect?
Well, if we get the same as we've had in recent games, especially against AFC Wimbledon, I think we're in for a cracking match.
What are your score predictions, please, sir?
Oh, I never give score predictions. I didn't go to the QPR game due to a family do, but I was listening to it on 5 Live, and I thought we could perhaps nick it by a goal, but as the goals kept raining in and I was dancing in the car as I was driving around the M25, I got some funny looks. I think it's going to be a very, very tight game tomorrow, so if I'm going to stick my neck out, use all the cliches, I'd say 2-0.
So you never give predictions, but you've given us 2-0. I'm looking... OK, and how big a game is this for MK Dons, Paul?
It's as big as all the games before it. I mean, the FA Cup is a bonus. Sorry to use the cliches. And like your previous caller, the league is more important. And we have slipped down the table in recent games. So I don't mind if we win tomorrow. I don't mind if we lose tomorrow. I think the highlight of the competition has been when we beat AFC Wimbledon myself.
Paul, listen, thank you very much. Lovely to speak to you. Best of luck
Thank
tomorrow.
you.
And it's really good to hear the excitement and the passion from both Paul and Kevin there. They're really geared up for this. I'm excited. Well, Justin Dealey, big Luton Town fan, he's been wandering around St George's Square, and I believe he's found someone who was at the Luton-Millwall game in 1985. Is that right, Justin?
Yes, Ian, we'll come to that person in a second. I've got 2 Luton supporters here with me right now. One of them's a bus driver. So what's your name?
Alex.
You're live in 3 counties, Alex. Can the town do it tomorrow? What do you think?
No problem.
No problem. I mean, everyone seems really confident about this, don't they?
2-1 Luton.
2-1, good man. OK, going to step outside the bus. Here's Matt as well. Just mentioned there with Ian, you were there back in 1985. An utterly terrifying night for anybody who was there. But this time, of course, 2013, everyone's moved on. You don't think there'll be trouble tomorrow, do you?
There won't be any trouble. No, it shouldn't be. It's calmed down a hell of a lot in the last 5 years. Luton haven't been doing too good the last few seasons anyways, but this game should be a good game because it's a good cup game. And they've done well with Norwich, didn't they? Yeah. So, I'm looking forward to the game.
Unbelievably well. Ian's going to be going tomorrow. Ian's inside that big red bus over there, live in St George's Square. There he is waving at you. Oh, it's a very, very strange wave, isn't it? Do that again for us.
Thank you very much.
Ooh-wee, ooh-wee.
Ooh-wee, ooh-wee.
That's very strange. OK. It's getting a bit strange now. But Ian's going to be going tomorrow. It's his first ever game. The atmosphere is going to be incredible, isn't it?
It should be a good game. Looking forward to it myself. It's an early one too, isn't it? Kick-off.
12:45.
Yeah.
What's the score going to be?
Hopefully 2-0 to Luton.
2-0. Excellent stuff. Have a great day. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.
So the town fans feeling very confident, Ian. I think you can expect a great atmosphere, a sellout game, of course. The winners going to the quarter-finals of the FA Cup. It's your first ever football match, and it's going to be massive.
Justin, I want a score prediction from you. What do you think is going to happen?
Oh, you see, I worry about these things.
No, come on.
It's tough because I said to you a few weeks ago, you said to me, have Luton got a chance of beating Wolves at home? I said absolutely no chance.
Yeah.
You said to me, have they got a chance of beating Norwich? I said no chance. And
you didn't go to the Norwich games. You thought it would be a write-off.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Tomorrow, I think Luton will do it. I think...
You've just jinxed them, You've jinxed them.
But I think when you get in there tomorrow, the great thing about Kenilworth Road is it's an old-school football ground. You're cramped in, you're right on top of the pitch. It's the atmosphere, it's intimidating. I think Luton will do it.
You've really not sold it to me at all. You're cramped in. It's intimidating.
Yes. Well, what more do you want?
I don't want being cramped in. I don't want intimidation. Justin, I'm looking for... You'll hold my hand, won't you?
Possibly.
I'm going to bring my big foam fingers from Gladiators. Do you want to wear one?
I'm not going with you. You can go in separate.
Oh, isn't that disappointing? Listen, have you got any tips for what I should be doing at this football match tomorrow? I'm genuinely excited, and I'm not at all annoyed that I've had to give up my Saturday at all for this. It's genuinely a pleasure to do that. I'm looking forward to it. It will be fun. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number. You can text as well, 81333. Start your text 3CR and include your name. And also, you can go to the Facebook page. If you go to facebook.com/BBC3CR, you can see some lovely pictures of me on the bus, and JD and Kelly Betts and Gareth and everybody. And also pictures from the last 22 hours. 21 hour, 45 minutes of broadcast. I'm confused. I can't do the maths. Anyway, let's shut up and let's go to the travel now with Sophie Tyler.
Herts and Bucks travel.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Still looking much the same out there at the moment. Heading east through Harlow at the A1169. It's blocked following an accident between Flex Meadow and St Catherine's Way. The A405 at North Orbital Road also heavy, approaching the M25 at junction 21A roundabout. And the Barnet Bypass also heading south, fairly slow at the moment between Stirling Corner and the Watford Bypass. Now heading through Aylesbury, the A41, that's Tring Road, is also looking fairly busy just around Bedgrove at the moment, approaching the roundabout there. And on the trains, we have delays of 30 minutes possible on First Capital Connect and East Midlands trains heading between Luton and St Pancras, all due to the overhead line problems at Radlett. Trains are running through the area, however delays are remaining a possibility at the moment. There's more in 15 minutes.
Thank you very much, Sophie. Good morning. It's 7:15, nearly 7:16. It's Friday, the 15th of February. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Bedfordshire Police say around 300 officers will be working on tomorrow's FA Cup tie between Luton and Millwall, including officers at train stations approaching Luton. Thameslink commuters are being warned to expect more delays and cancellations this morning as efforts to fix overhead lines at Radlett continue. In sport, England won the toss and are fielding in the third and final 2020 international against New Zealand in Wellington. A short time ago, New Zealand were 102 for 5. Today's weather in Beds, Herts and Bucks, dry and bright with a top temperature of 9 degrees. Coming up, we'll have an update on the train situation from First Capital Connect following problems at Radlett.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Did you know you can get in touch with BBC Three Counties Radio wherever you are?
Via Twitter, at BBC3CR.
Join us on Facebook, facebook.com/BBC3CR.
Call us on 08459 455 555.
Or text us on 81333 and start your message with 3CR.
Getting beds, hearts and bucks talking. BBC Three Counties Radio.
Love Beds, Hearts and Bucks.
Love Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Yeah, a cup of coffee's just turned up. This is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio, celebrating the fact that Three Counties is now on DAB, digital quality. We're broadcasting live from St George's Square in Luton. I've not yet made the connection with St George's Square in Luton and DAB, but I'm embracing the fact we're here. It's lovely. It's nice to have all the team here. It's nice to... You got a cup of coffee, Just?
Yeah, very nice.
Good lad, well done. It's nice to see Dealey working his magic. If you want to come and say hello... Keep cackling like a lunatic. If you want to come and say hello, we're by the fairground. You can see the huge fairground in St George's Square, and we're kind of at the foot of that. And I'm hoping we get free rides all day. Now, you might remember that Bedford was announced as one of the towns which was going to be part of the Mary Portas pilot. It would receive money to revive the high street. Well, 9 months on, and Bedford hasn't yet spent the 50-odd thousand pounds it was given. In fact, only £3,500 has been spent. 1.5 on that on postcards. Yeah, I don't get it either. Our reporter, Serena Farrow, spoke to various businesses in the town who weren't aware that money had been spent already.
I haven't seen any difference whatsoever. No leaflets, no posters, no information from anybody. No, I thought they were going to open an empty shop and put something in which seemed a bit wishy-washy. But I have heard from Nelson in Lancashire that they had Mary Portas and they asked all the people in the high street or the locals what difference did it make, and they said they'd seen no difference in their takings whatsoever. Basically, it's a television show, isn't it? They still for sale notices in the high street looking horrible, and people have been bankrupt for like 20 years and Nothing seems to get done, basically.
Apparently the camera store opposite you, they were there for 10 years and suddenly they've gone now as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You really need someone with a bit of common sense and a bit of get up and go. And unfortunately, overall, it comes from the top and they don't want to do anything. The car parks are empty. Before Christmas, I personally went to the car parks and looked to see how many cars there were. The top 2 stories empty, and this was like a week before Christmas. So why not get £1 from everyone, instead of having empty car parks?
We were told that the high street would start getting, fascias will start getting done, and some of them have. Next door, the Sports Aid, and some of the other shops further on down have started to change now, so looking better, helping other people come in.
Do you think it's worked, or is it too early to tell?
Too early to tell. Once it all starts and once they know what it's going to be spent on.
Some of it already has been spent, though, on marketing and customer service, apparently.
We have Bedford Bid, and I know Bedford Bid has done a lot of the marketing and for all the shop owners in the town, and Love Bedford have done the same thing, so it's quite good.
So you don't think that the Mary Portas money's really helped much at the moment?
Not really, to be honest.
You haven't seen any major difference? No.
Not really.
No. It was only £50,000, I suppose, for Bedford. You've got a lot of shops here.
Yeah, that's right. It's lots of shop, and I think it's still not enough.
Have you seen anything that they've done with that money, visible?
Not really. The market around just seems being worse, and maybe it's only me, but I don't think really a lot better happen.
Mario, have you noticed a difference on the high street here?
Not at all.
So what were you expecting, to see changed?
Revamp of the high street. There's a few shops for empty that have been empty quite a while. Hopefully things will get better.
As far as you're concerned, you didn't think they'd spent any money at all?
Not at all, no. I think it's more of a celebrity thing, trying to revamp our old high street, basically.
Is Greg Warwick there? Well, there we go. Greg Warwick, are you there, Greg?
Yes.
Greg, you are there. Sorry, it's all a little bit confusing because I'm on a bus. It's only the second time I've ever presented a blooming radio show on a bus, of all things. So things are a bit up in the air. Greg Warwick owns a Barber's in Bedford and does join me now. We have confirmation of that. Have you noticed a difference to the town as a result of the money, Greg?
Listening, you're saying a difference. There are differences that have happened. We've got an amazing town app, for instance, that's just been launched. And that app is for smartphones, and I know that everybody uses this app, can actually see every single person, every single business in Bedford on the app. It's got Google Maps on it, it tells you where to go to, and I think that's actually quite amazing.
That's a good idea. An app for Bedford. I quite like that.
Yeah, it really works. It's absolutely quite. I was amazed when I saw it. To be fair, I was like, "Wow, this is really something else."
Anything else? Any other? Have you noticed an increase in footfall, in business, in men, in ladies?
Oh, an increase. Well, we're in the middle of a recession, so bearing in mind that if you just stood still, that's actually quite a success, bearing in mind that some shops have actually closed down. So, no, but what has happened, I mean, there's an empty shop that's got a wrap around it these days, so it actually looks really very, very attractive as opposed to an old abandoned shop. Now, I don't know if there's going to be more of those or not, that I don't know, but that certainly happened.
There's £51,000, Greg. How would you, as a retailer in the town, how would you like to see that money spent?
Well, as I say, it'd be very nice to see the high street itself have the empty shops, have some sort of wraps or, it's a sort of idea of trying to make it more attractive. We're in a nice...
Greg, how's business going for you? You busy?
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. People's hair continues to grow, which is marvellous.
Hair growing, taxes and death. Those are the three things that we can rely on. Greg, listen, thank you very much for coming on and best of luck with the business. I hope it works well.
Thank you very
That's Greg
much.
Warwick, who owns... Thank you, Greg. Owns Barber's in Bedford. And Bedford Bid, who are in charge of where the money goes, say they're in no hurry to spend that cash, and they're going to join me on the show in about an hour. Where would you like to see the money spent? 08459 455 555. Now, if you're travelling on First Capital Connect services today, I'm sorry, expect delays. It's all because 1 kilometre of power cable went down on Wednesday near Radlett. Meant to be sorted by 6 o'clock this morning. Well, Paul Oxley is from First Capital Connect. Paul, you told us at 6:30 this morning there were still delays of up to an hour. What's the latest on that?
The latest, Ian. Good morning again. The latest on that is we're actually seeing delays now of up to 30 minutes. So previously I did tell you that there would have to be a procession again tonight, and there would be delays throughout the day. In actual fact, whilst there will be residual delays, we are expected to have all 4 lines reopened by the end of the morning. Now, the final leg of the repair works that will be taking place tonight will actually be in the very early hours of the morning, so won't actually affect our services. So, actually, the news is, although it's still quite stressful for customers, as I said, there will be some residual delays. It is a lot better than previously said.
So improvements are being made. That's fantastic news. Just advice for people who may be worried about their journeys today. What would you say to them?
I would say to please obviously do leave plenty of time for your journey. This has been quite an extensive bit of damage done to the overhead lines. If you can, please do check our website, www.firstcapitalconnect.co.uk. On there you'll find the latest travel information and information on all of the upcoming services and their booking times, and if they are delayed and by how many minutes.
Paul, excellent stuff. Thank you so much for coming on. I know you're very busy. I appreciate the time. Paul Oxley, there if you're affected by these delays. So I'm having my picture taken outside a bus. I'm doing a radio show, Gareth. Have you not noticed? Doing the show on blooming Three Counties Radio. Have you got your picture? Goodness sakes. We are in St George's Square in Luton. If you want to come down and say hello, you're more than welcome. There's a story I noticed on in The Sun. The hell of the woman who hears 50s hit in her head. A woman has a bizarre illness. It's an illness, so we can't make, too many jokes about it, which means that she constantly hears how much is that doggy in the window plate in her head. Now, no, you can't laugh at that because it's an illness. What are you doing? It's a concerning thing. Susan Root, 63, suffers from a rare form of tinnitus called musical hallucination. I've got tinnitus. I've got the high-pitched whistle. I would rather have the musical one. She's endured 3 years of sleepless nights hearing the 1953 novelty hit and other old favourites such as Happy Birthday and Auld Lang Syne. When I was younger, these used to be called earworms. It was an earworm, a song that you had in your head, and you just, however hard you tried, you could not get it out of your head. For Neighbours, the Neighbours theme was a big earworm. I woke up the other morning. I tend to get not whole songs as earworms, but just kind of like one line, just going round and round in a loop. Susan has tried therapy and a hearing aid, but doctors are baffled. She tries to drown out the music with birdsong and whale music, but it would be so loud she can't hear people. So, I guess the thing we want to say this morning, and this woman is obviously suffering from this, and we would wish nobody this hell on her, but what is the most annoying song you could think of? What is the song that you would least like to be stuck with, to have going round and round and round in your head? How much is that doggy in the window? Now I've said it several times, I'm guessing that it's probably going to be going around in your head quite a bit. What song would you find the most irritating? 08459 455 555. Dealey, who's I can see on the other side of the square, you present music shows.
Yeah.
Is there a song that you just find really, really irritating?
Laurie Anderson, Oh Superman.
Oh Superman.
Yeah.
That was number one for 8 weeks.
Yeah, it's awful, absolutely awful. So irritating. Why did people buy it? I don't know. You can't get much more annoying than that, can you?
What is it that makes a song so irritating?
I think it's just bizarreness, probably. As you're dancing through Luton.
I am dancing.
Oh, that is a bizarre sight.
It's a beautiful sight.
Something quite sexy about it, though.
Oh, wait. I think we've gone a little bit happy clappy. It's Friday morning feeling. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number. Facebook.com/BBC3CR. And you can text us as well. 81333. Start your text 3CR. Include your name in the text, dear listener. Otherwise, it won't get read out. I want to try and find... Can we get the top 5 most irritating songs of all time? Just those songs that it goes on and on and on. The Birdie song was the one growing up for me. Just a little bit of this and a little bit of that and shake you. It just goes round and round and round. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number. The most irritating songs of all time. I feel sorry for this poor woman with it stuck in her head. Imagine that nightmare. The nightmare of it. Of all the songs to get stuck in there. You can also go to Facebook as well and see some pictures of us this morning. There'll probably be a picture of me stood outside a bus. You can add that to your collection of Iain Lee Panini stickers. And also pictures from when we started broadcasting at 9 o'clock yesterday to celebrate the magic of BBC Three Counties going live on DAB. Facebook.com/BBC 3CR. Right, let's get the latest travel now. It's 7:29. Let's go to Sophie Tyler.
Herts and Bucks travel.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Heading east on the A1169, that's Elizabeth Way, heading through Harlow. It is blocked following an accident between Flex Meadow and St Catherine's Way, And also on the North Orbital Road, Bricket Wood, there it's looking fairly heavy, just approaching the M25 junction 21A roundabout. And the Barnet bypass heading south through Boreham Wood, also slow, where you'd expect between Stirling Corner and the Watford bypass. Also getting reports coming in as well that there's ice on the road at Warren Lane, just off the A6, just around Clop Hill. So do be aware there may begin to cause some problems. Anti-clockwise on the M25, very slow between 18 at Chorleywood and 16 at the M40, and also between 26 at Waltham Abbey and 25 at the A10 for Enfield. Delays of 30 minutes on East Midlands trains and First Capital Connect between Luton and St Pancras International due to the overhead line problems at Radlett. Everything else not looking too bad at all. There's more in 15 minutes.
Getting beds, hearts and bugs talking.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning with the 7:30 headlines. I'm Catherine Boyle. Bedfordshire Police say around 300 officers will be working on tomorrow's FA Cup tie between Luton and Millwall, including officers at train stations approaching Luton. Thameslink commuters are being warned to expect more delays and cancellations this morning as efforts to fix overhead lines at Radlett continue. And Oscar Pistorius arrived at court in South Africa this morning, where he'll stand charged with murdering his girlfriend.
Beds, Hearts and Bucks Sport.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Let's start with cricket. England won the toss and are fielding in the third and final 2020 international against New Zealand in Wellington. A short time ago, New Zealand were 139 for 8. In football, Tottenham beat Lyon 2-1 in the first leg of their last 32 tie in the Europa League last night. Chelsea beat Sparta Prague 1-0. Newcastle drew 0-0 with Metalist Kharkiv, and Liverpool were beaten 2-0 at Zenit St Petersburg. MK Dons manager Carl Robinson will start Alan Smith up front in tomorrow's FA Cup fifth round clash against Barnsley. The Dons captain Dean Lewington feels his side can hold their own against Championship opposition.
It's definitely winnable. Obviously, like you said, they've picked up massively in the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks. They've gone on a great run, so they're becoming full of confidence. But likewise for us, it's a one-off game, and anything can happen. And we definitely feel that we've got the quality in the team to get the result.
Luton Town still haven't received international clearance to enable them to play defender Wayne Thomas in matches. As it stands, he won't feature in the FA Cup fifth round tie with Millwall tomorrow. Paul Buckle is using the sellout game at Kenilworth Road as a chance to forget about his side's recent league form.
Whatever good and bad has gone in the past has gone. What we focus on now is a big game at Kenilworth Road, which I wouldn't change for the world. It's a huge game for us, and it's one that we desperately want to do well in.
And finally, Watford are in league action away to Birmingham tomorrow in the Championship. Defender Tommy Hoban is an injury doubt for the Hornets, and that's your latest news and sport. More from me at 8 o'clock.
On FM, AM and online, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Morning! Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. We're by the fair that's here for half-term in St George's Square in Luton. Cups of coffee have been delivered, and Day's stale chocolate muffins as well. I wondered why it said 50 pence off. That's why they're stale, and boy, do they taste like it. Coming up in the next 30 minutes, throughout the last 24 hours, our reporters have been following the production of the vans at the Vauxhall plant in Luton. Our reporter Sophie Solaria is there to tell us now how things are progressing, and we're going to have a little chat with her a bit later on. And I am off to see Luton Town play Millwall tomorrow. I'm very, very excited. And I've been down to Hillborough Infant and Nursery School in Luton to see what the kids think of the big game. And they've got an interesting take on it. 08459 455 555. And after this poor woman has got how much is that doggy? Susan Root has got how much is that doggy in the window stuck in her head. We're asking what is the most irritating song of all time. Justin Dealey, I believe you're going to approach some women. Yeah. Do you want to broadcast this, or is this private?
I think we should broadcast this. Somebody earlier on said to me, Mr. Blobby, that's annoying. Do you know what that kept off the Christmas #1 spot? Do you know?
Do I know what it kept off the Christmas #1 slot? Yeah. Was it East 17?
No, very close, actually. Take That and Babe.
Did it
Mr.
really?
Mr. Blobby kept Take That off Christmas #1.
Man alive. We don't do the novelty record anymore, and I think that's a good thing.
I think, well, yeah, sometimes, mind you, some of them are quite good. Here's somebody else. Madam, what's your name?
Laura.
Welcome to the programme. You're live across Beds, Herts and Bucks. What's the most annoying song of all time?
The one that says, "Tell Laura I love her."
So whenever you speak to people, do they kind of sing that down the phone to you?
They do, yeah.
Tell Laura I love her.
Thanks for that. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. Have a good weekend.
You too.
There you go. Tell Laura I love her. There you go.
I tell you what, I've said. What's great about doing this morning from Luton out and about, Justin, is I get to see you at work, and I think you're a brilliant broadcaster.
Don't go too far.
No, but what on earth was that pose you're doing when you were doing Tell Lady? You were leant up against the bus stop with your legs crossed. Doing...
Yeah.
All right, love. You come here often.
It kind of works.
Singing Tell Laura I love her. Justin, go and find some more people. We'll speak to you a little bit later on. We've been asking about that Mary Portas money for Bedford. About £51,000 of it. About £3,000 has been spent so far in the last 9 months. Half of that on postcards. Well, David is in Bedford. Morning, David. What's your take on this?
Morning, Ian. My take on is that the High Street isn't a High Street anymore. The town centre is technically where the Harper Centre is in Bedford, where everything is for what people want. And they've got to really look at what shops are going in there and what businesses, if they really want to improve the High Street and get people back up there.
So we've been talking a lot, in various unconnected stories this week, but the central theme seems to be the death of the High Street. Do you think that Bedford High Street has gone too far? It can't be saved?
Yes, I do, because it's been gone for over 10 years or more. I have only shopped up there once in 10 years.
Wow. £51,000 that Bedford Council have got. What would you like to see that spent on?
Looking at improving the facilities in the town.
Give me an example.
Getting more businesses in that are going to stay in the town and get the car parking prices, etc., down, and are trying to attract people to the town. There's nothing to attract people. That's why they go to other towns like Northampton, Milton Keynes.
David, can I just take you off on a slight tangent while I've got your ear, so to speak? There's this poor lady that's got How Much Is That Doggy in the Window stuck in her head. What's the most irritating song you can think of?
Mr. Blobby.
It's Blobby. Can you believe that was such a big hit? It's awful. I never got Blobby.
Yeah, it's just one of those that just drives you mad.
David, thank you very much indeed. Thank you for being a good sport, and thank you for your thoughts on Bedford. We have been talking about this a lot, and it does seem to be, doesn't it, that the High Street is on its way out. There are all these big shopping centres, these out-of-town retail parks that are taking place. So it might be worth a further investigation. But if you want to give us a call about your irritating songs, 08459 455 555. Now, throughout our special 24-hour broadcast here on BBC Three Counties Radio, we've been following the production of a Vivaro van along the track at a local employer, Vauxhall. Well, last night, our reporter, Richard Williams, was with Nigel, who's one of the supervisors. He explained what happens in the body shop, not that one.
What we're watching now is the start of the process for the building of one of the front doors. This is actually inside the cell. The robot has picked up the inner panel. It's moved it to the stand welder to apply the spot welds that the manual operation can pick up.
I can see 3 robots operational here at the moment. Will these work all through the night? Because the ones behind them are sort of down at the moment. Is it like shifts that these robots will go down for maintenance, then those robots behind will take over?
It's all to do with zoning. Obviously, the reason we have zoning is to stop the robots crashing. So a robot sends a signal to another one to say, I'm in this position, you can't move. So that will stay in that position till the actual robot finishes its cycle. That'll move away, and then the next robot will come in and do its bit.
Justin, we can hear what sounds like an ice cream van, but what is that noise?
That's to actually say that we've got a problem with one of our robot cells, and the production guy's actually calling for assistance from maintenance.
Keith, you are the man who responds to the ice cream van. What did you just have to come and fix?
Basically what happened, there's some air in the system. We apply sealer between the panels, one as an adhesive and one so the panels don't go together. And what it was telling me, the pump had gone into overstroke, which is a fault, so we had to come and rectify the fault and get the air out of the system.
How many times are you called each night to fix problems on the line?
It can vary. I cover a few different areas. This one is the particularly busy one. We could do anything between 20, 30 calls at least a night.
Nigel, I've just had a chat with Keith there, the maintenance man, who said he's come over to fix it. Is the problem sorted now?
We're going to check the next two assemblies, make sure that there's enough sealer applied to both of them. If not, we'll try and rework them.
And what part is coming off here? It looks like the bonnet, is it?
It is the bonnet, yeah.
Justin, you're checking two of the bonnets as they come off to check the sealer's been reapplied properly now. In this high-tech environment, the old tests and the old ways are the best. Just explain to us what you did then.
Just got a scrap piece of paper and just slid it between the two panels just to make sure the sealer was there. Because you don't want to damage the panel by trying to pull it and have a look. And so, piece of paper, put it in, the sealer comes out, then, yeah, we've got sealer.
I get the impression someone taught you that trick many years ago and you were passed that on in your 27 years.
Yeah, it's something I think we all do, and we pass it down generation to generation.
Justin, here we are at the end of the line. One fully made door and bonnet.
Yep, so that's come down now. We've just got a guy there checking some of the spot welds. Once he's checked those, this door will be unloaded, put into, this is a spares rack, so this will be labelled up and then shipped off to spares.
Well, we appear to have sent Richard Williams, who's an excellent reporter, to the noisiest place in Luton. Thank you, Richard. Good stuff. Well, Sophie Solaria, who's almost as excellent as Richard, is there now. Morning, Sophie.
Morning, and it's just as loud here. Can you hear me properly? I hope so.
I can hear you better than I could at the DAB launch yesterday.
Well, I am at the final stage of our van journey. I'm inside the production plant, surrounded by Vivaro vans, machinery and burly men driving vans around. So I'm in my element this morning. Vauxhall, if you didn't know, is a British car company and its headquarters are here in Luton, where I stand. It was founded in 1857 as a pump and marine engine manufacturer. It then started making cars in 1903 and has been one of the largest selling car brands in the UK for over 2 decades. I'm with Mick Rawson, the unit manager here at the assembly shop at Vauxhall. Good morning, Mick.
Yeah, good morning.
Early start for you?
Normal 7 o'clock start.
That's good. That's good. I've been up all night, so forgive me if I stumble my way through this. What is your role here, Mick?
I'm responsible for the whole. We've got 230 odd employees working in this.
Oh, I think we've lost Sophie Solaria. Look, Sophie, we're having a little bit of trouble with you. We'll come back to you in a few minutes if that's okay, because the signal's going.
Yeah,
You're
that's
doing a cracking
fine.
job. We'll come back in a little bit. Sophie Solaria, live at Vauxhall, bless her. Oh, she sounded crushed then, didn't she? That's all right. Yeah. You know that she's told her mum and dad to listen this morning, specifically for that. I'm really sorry, Sophie. We'll get back to you later on. The signal just seems to be fading in and out, and it's just too exciting to have audio dropping out like that. We've been asking your annoying songs after this poor lady's got, how much is that doggy in the window stuck in her head? For 3 years. She can't sleep. She can't sleep. Well, sorry, I'm just watching Justin Dealey at work. It's a sight to behold. CK and Bucks has texted in 81333, starting the text 3CR. There is a song my friend sings, and it drives me nuts. It's an old song. Oh, there's a hole in my bucket. Dear Liza, there's a hole in my bucket. Dear Liza, a hole. Well, fix it then, Henry. You don't hear that anymore. It's a children's song based between two characters called Henry and Liza. He sings it once and I'm doomed. I quite like that song. I do quite like it. It goes on for ages. Oh, Karen in Welwyn Garden City. Joe Dolce, shut up your face. No. Now, that everyone takes that as a novelty song. I've heard an interview where Joe Dolce defends that as being an important political piece about immigration. Yeah, he does. He does. And Dexy's Midnight Runners, Come Eileen, is the worst song. Dealey's out and about. Justin, have you got someone with irritating songs?
Oh, yeah, we have. Madam, what's your name?
Oh, no, I'm not.
Oh, come on, you can do this, sir. What's your name, sir?
My name's Paul. I
Paul.
can't hear.
You're fine, Paul. Come on, you're fine. What's the most annoying song of all time, the most irritating song of all time?
The birdie song.
That's all right, no, that's fine. There you go, the birdie song. There's another one for you. Do you know what, Ian? As a mobile disc jockey, the buffet's in the corner, by the way. The birdie song, right up there. You go and do a quality night, you're playing all the top tunes. Here's the Fatback Band I found loving, the dance floor's packed. And then they say, well, you must play the birdie song because the bride really, really likes it. Yeah, but can we just... No, but the bride really, really likes it and you have to play it. It's very, very irritating.
Sorry, I think I misheard something there. Do you do mobile discos?
Well, yeah, occasionally. You know, I can be brought out of retirement for the right gig. Yes.
We've got a song. This song's for all the ladies in the room. Ladies, I really want to see you up and dancing to this one.
And now it's time for the last dance. Ladies, take your man.
Oh, that surprised me. And if I'm honest, it's upset me a little bit as well.
Why?
I might hide. It's my 40th in June.
Yeah.
You free on June the 9th?
Yes, I'm actually. Yes.
How much do you charge?
For you, probably about £500.
Oh, flipping heck. Is that mates' rates?
No.
Unbelievable. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. You can text 81333. Start your text 3CR. I believe, I've just hearing rumours that all of Justin Dealey's disco gear is stored in the third floor at BBC Three Counties Radio. I shall be making my mark there. It's nearly 7:45. Let's get the travel with Sophie Tyler.
Herts and Bucks travel.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Still looking much the same at the moment. Heading east through Harlow on the A1169, that's Elizabeth Way. It is blocked following an accident just between Flex Meadow and St Catherine's Way. Also looking fairly busy as well, heading through Clop Hill. That's Warren Lane there. We're getting lots of reports of ice just around the A6, so do be aware heading down in that direction. Usual delays as well through Cheshunt on the A10, heading south at the Great Cambridge Road. Fairly slow between College Road and Lieutenant Ellis Way. Now on the M25, anti-clockwise, it's slow between 26 at Waltham Abbey and 25 at the A10 for Enfield. Also slow again between 18 at Chorleywood and 16 at the M40. And delays of 30 minutes possible on East Midlands trains between Luton and St Pancras International due to the overhead line problems at Radlett, also affecting First Capital Connect in the same areas. Sophie Tyler, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much, Sophie. It's 7:45, it's Friday the 15th of February. These are your headlines this morning on BBC Three Counties Radio. Bedfordshire Police say around 300 officers will be working on tomorrow's FA Cup tie between Luton and Millwall, including officers at train stations approaching Luton. Thameslink commuters face another day of delays and cancellations this morning as Railtrack continue to fix overhead lines at Radlett. In sport, Gareth Bale feels he's playing the best football of his career after he scored his 20th and 21st goals of the season against Lyon last night. And now, let's get the latest weather. Here's Lizzie.
Beds, Hearts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hello, a very good morning to you. We've got temperatures on the rather chilly side, actually, between around 0 and 3 degrees for most of our areas, and those temperatures will rise quite nicely. It's going to be quite spring-like again today, dry and fine for the most part, all the way up to probably 9, even 10 degrees Celsius, perhaps somewhere near the London area. That's 50 in Fahrenheit. 8 and 9 forecast for Milton Keynes, for Leighton Buzzard, Luton and Tring as well. That's 48 in Fahrenheit. Lots of good breaks in the cloud, plenty of sunny spells into the morning and into the afternoon as well. It's going to feel rather chilly again tonight, temperatures dipping just below freezing in the countryside. A very, very light southerly breeze, but it will be bringing up some moister air, so perhaps some mist and fog patches into tomorrow, and of course a widespread ground frost as well, where we do get those very low temperatures. So for tomorrow then, a chilly old start. It could be quite a grey start as well if that mist lingers. It should lift though into the morning, and there'll be quite a lot of cloud, a bit more in the way of cloud I think through the afternoon, but still some bright spells possible, particularly over parts of Hertfordshire I should think. And then into Saturday night, a chilly one. Sunday though, dry, bright and fine for the most part. Some good spells of sunshine out there. An easterly breeze, that's going to bring some cooler air in as we get into next week. So enjoy the dry, fine, spring-like weather while it's still here, because I think it is going to turn colder again into next week. That's the forecast for now though.
tackling your consumer problems on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Don't worry about that loan now. The whole amount has just been taken off. You don't owe a penny.
Gosh, I can't believe this.
Jonathan Vernon Smith.
This has been 6 years of hell.
Fighting for your rights.
You've done more in 2 weeks than I've done in 6 years. I can't thank you enough.
You've fought it and you've won it.
Well, you won it for me. Thank you so much, Jonathan.
If you have a consumer problem, we can do the same for you. Call the team now. 08459 455 555. BBC Three Counties Radio.
Love mornings.
Love Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio, broadcasting live from St George's Square in Luton. I was worried. When I was told we were doing this and I was contractually obliged to actually be here today, I was worried. Luton, 7:45 in the morning, I was expecting chilly, I was expecting wet. It's not bad. Kelly Betts, it's not bad, is it?
It's lovely. I'm having a whale of a time.
Yeah, can you say that without sounding sarcastic?
I'm having a whale of a time. I can't.
No, you can't, can you?
I'm not actually being so
No, the weather's really, really nice. We've had lots of lovely people coming up to us and saying hello and waving and well, basically they've come to see Justin Dealey's suntan. Morning. We've been broadcasting for 24 hours, and the reason is we're celebrating the fact that BBC Three Counties Radio has gone onto DAB digital radio. We've also been following the production of a Vivaro van along the track at local employer Vauxhall. Well, a few minutes ago, we tried to speak live to our reporter Sophie Soleri. I wanted to ask her, she's been up all night. I wanted to ask her how on earth she's feeling, but I'm afraid we couldn't get that live signal, so instead she sent us this little pre-recorded package. Let's have a cheeky listen, shall we?
I'm here at the final stage of our van journey. We've been following the production of a Vivaro van at the Vauxhall plant in Luton for the last 24 hours now. Vauxhall's a British car company. Its headquarters are here in Luton. It was founded in 1857 as a pump and marine engine manufacturer, and it then started making cars in 1903. So it's been one of the largest selling car brands in the UK for over 2 decades. I'm with Mick Rawson, the unit manager here at the assembly shop at Vauxhall. Good morning, Mick.
Good morning.
Early morning start for you?
Normal. 7 o'clock start, 7 till 3.
So what's your role here as unit manager?
I'm responsible for the whole shop. We've got around 230 employees working in the assembly shop.
And how many vans do you produce in any one shift?
In one shift it's 174.
That's a fair few.
Yeah, the demand's really gone up this year. We went from 2 shifts to 1, so we're running actually at the fastest line rate we've ever run at.
Why do you think they're so popular?
Oh, these things are amazing. They drive like a car. Fantastic, man.
Well, we're at the end of the production line now. I can see half a dozen black, red and white vans in my eye line just there. What are the final stages from here?
From here, there's it's a drive-off, final check. It goes on to dynamic vehicle testing. We set up the headlamps, tracking and wheel adjustments. And then there's a final check. From there, it goes on to a squeak and rattle track. And from there onto the transporters and out to the dealerships.
And then it's ready to go, I guess?
Yep, that's it.
So where do they go? To the shops?
These go to our retailers up and down the country. We export right across Europe, so the vans that you see driving off, they're actually badged Opel, and they go right across Europe.
And I take it one of these vans is going to be taking me to St George's Square later on today to meet the breakfast team where Iain Lee is standing.
Yeah, it is, but we're not going to let you drive because your colleague's been telling us yesterday about your driving
What?
skills. So.
What do you mean my driving skills? I'm a good driver.
Not according to your colleague, it was here yesterday.
So I'm not allowed to drive it now?
No, not today.
Oh.
Yeah, gutted, Sophie. And I think that's unfair because, I mean, listen, she's not the best driver in the world, but she's certainly not the worst. That's Justin Dealey. Thank you, Sophie. Excellent stuff. Looking forward to seeing you a little bit later on. Now, annoying songs. There's a poor lady that's got How Much Is That Doggy in the Window stuck in her head for 3 years. The earworm is burying deep. Lynn is in Hemel. Morning, Lynn.
Good morning, Iain.
What's the annoying earworm that you just can't get rid of?
Well, I luckily don't have it anymore, but I think somebody might have already mentioned it, but I didn't know the name of it. And it's that one, what's the matter, you? Hey, gotta know respect. And I think it's that, I don't know the rest, but I think it's that shut up your face one.
Are we ready for a sing-song?
Yay!
What's the matter, you? Hey, why you got no respect? Hey, what do you think you do? Hey, gotta no respect. Hey, it's a not so bad. Hey, it's a nicer place. Lynn, shut up for your face. Get off of your face. That's the 90s rave version.
A lady used to sing it in an office I worked all the time, and we were getting to the point of taking out a contract on her.
What? Why would she sing that all the time?
God knows, but we were actually clubbing together and we're going to get a contract out.
This is taking a very dark and macabre turn.
We were just going to...
Lynn, listen, before you get yourself... Listen, I don't want to be involved. I don't want to be in another courtroom and having more audio of me played. It's happened before. It will happen again. Lynn in Hummel, thank you very much.
It was a long time ago.
Lynn, get off of your face!
Get off
Thank you very much, Lynn.
face.
08459 455 555, the most irritating songs. Jen in St Neots has said the annoying song is that Joe Pasquale, I Know a Song That Will Get on Your Nerves. But that's meant to be annoying, isn't it? That's the reason for that. Oh, Jackie in Chesham, Believe by Cher, which Kelly Betts is about to sing for us. Yeah, excellent, Kelly. Thanks very much indeed. 08459 455 555. Irritating songs. You can also go to Facebook. Facebook.com/BBC3CR. And if you go and post your annoying songs there, you can have a cheeky little look at some of the photos that have been taken during the last 23 hours or thereabouts while we've been broadcasting to celebrate the fact we are now live on DAB. Now, tomorrow, big football match, Luton versus Millwall. It's big because it's like a big game and it's quite important. But the biggest thing is, it's my first ever football match. Well, I went down to Hillborough Infant and Nursery School in Luton to see what the kids think of the big cup game against Millwall.
Hello, my name is Lauren. I'm 6 years old. I'm 7 years old, and I come from Hillborough Infant School. And I'm William. I am Hudayfa and I'm 7 and I go to Hillborough Infant School. I'm 7, I'm Bradley, and I go to Hillborough Infant School. I'm Marina and I'm 7 and I go to Hillborough Infant School.
My name is Kazim and I'm 7 years old and I'm from Pakistan.
Ella?
I'm 7 years old and I'm from England and I'm in Hillborough Infant School. Are you sure?
Coming up soon, there's a very important football match between Luton and Millwall.
Go Luton! Go Luton!
Whoa, hey, whoa, everybody, calm down. Who supports Luton? Okay, so you're not sure, William?
I support Manchester United.
I do.
Yeah.
I support West Ham United.
Okay, but that's not the question, is it? I'm asking who supports Luton. Do you support Luton, Ella?
No.
Who do you think is going to win between Luton and Millwall in the FA Cup?
Luton.
What do you think the score will be?
240. 5 out of 6.
5 out of 6.
I know.
Luton might get about 3 or 4 or something, and the other team might get about 1 or something like that, and then the whole school together, and the one that gets the last shot is going to be Luton, and that gets it in the air and it lands on its head.
It's going to be a draw.
Yeah, it is. Seriously, it's going to be a draw. That's what my brain's calling me to say.
Well, wake your brain up.
Okay.
Lauren, what do you think?
I think Luton's going to get 10 out of 10 and probably 5 out of 5.
I love that. Those children don't know how football scoring works. 10 out of 10? 5 out of 5? That's what my brain's telling me to say. Morning, this is it. Thank you very much. Those kids in Hillborough are a joy, and you'll be hearing more of them over the next couple of weeks. They're an absolute joy and wonderful. If they're the future, then we're in safe hands. This is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. We're live in St George's Square in Luton, and there's a fair that's popped up to celebrate the magic of half-term. And so I've snuck onto the Dodgems. I love the Dodgems, but they're not turned on. Can we get the Dodgems turned on? Wake them up. They're probably asleep in that van. Let's get them woken up. Let me and Dealey have a Dodge off. And I love the Dodgems. Of course, the best thing in the Dodgems to do is that thing where you scrape your fingers along the floor so they get covered in grease, then you drive up to someone and wipe it on their face. We all do it. We all love it. We're here in St George's Square. If you want to come down and say hello, you're more than welcome to. Justin Dealey is here, Kelly Betts and Gareth from the BBC Introducing Show are here, I'm here, or if you just want to give us a call with your irritating songs, 08459 455 555 is the telephone number. 81333. Start your text 3CR. And for goodness sakes, please put your names on the text. Otherwise, I will refuse to read them. I'm doing a radio show. What on earth's going on? This is our driver who... we talk about getting contracts taken out on people. I think there's a very strong chance he might not make it till 9 o'clock. You're looking very smart, though, in your BBC red jacket. It's always a pleasure to see. I'm going to move because I can hear my signal is cracking up. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. Plenty more coming up, including... Bedford High Street, £51,000 was awarded to it by the Mary Portas Foundation. Only about £3,000 of it has been spent so far. And half of that was on postcards. Well, later on we'll be speaking to someone who's responsible for how that money is spent. And we'll find out exactly what's going on and why they haven't spent any more. But now at 7:58, let's go to Sophie Tyler and get the latest travel.
Herts and Bucks travel.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Heading through Clop Hill, Warren Lane is looking like it's particularly icy this morning. Lots of reports coming in that it's very slippy just at the A6. Thanks to Jane in particular for calling that one in for us. And elsewhere in Harlow, Elizabeth Way, heading east, that's the A1169, is blocked following an accident between Flex Meadow and St Catherine's Way. Anti-clockwise on the M25, also slow between 26 at Waltham Abbey and 25 at the A10 for Enfield. And also slow again between 18 at Chorleywood and 16 at the M40. Delays of 30 minutes possible on First Capital Connect services and East Midlands trains, particularly between Luton and St Pancras International, all due to the ongoing overhead line problems at Radlett. Sophie Tyler, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Sophie, thank you very much. I'm in St George's Square in Luton. I'm joined by Rachel. Morning, Rachel.
Hi.
You smell delicious.
Thank you.
Where are you off to? Anywhere exciting?
Just college.
Why won't you look me in the eye?
Because college.
Rachel, lovely to meet you. Have a lovely day. See you later on. Bye-bye. Here's the news with Catherine.
Herts and Bucks talking.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning, it's 8 o'clock. The headlines: 300 police set to police Luton Millwall. Thameslink passengers warned of further delays and cancellations. And the mystery of Bedford's Porter's Pounds.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Around 300 Bedfordshire police officers will be deployed at tomorrow's FA Cup tie between Luton and Millwall, some of whom will be posted on railway stations approaching Luton, including Harpenden and St Albans. Chief Superintendent Mike Colburn says the cost of policing the event is justified.
Yes, there will be some financial cost incurred through it, but it's also going to bring some trade into the town. It's bringing opportunities for the club. We hope that will be the right trade-off. So we won't want to bring on too many resources, but we want to make sure that the public really do see a good, solid, visible policing operation that supports and protects them and allows the game to go ahead without incident.
Thameslink commuters are set for another day of delays and cancellations as Network Rail's efforts to fix overhead lines at Radlett continue. First Capital Connect had hoped to have services back to normal by now. Their spokesman Paul Oxley doesn't think that will happen until tomorrow morning. In the meantime, here's his advice.
So obviously do leave plenty of time for your journey. This has been quite an extensive bit of damage done to the overhead lines. If you can, please do check our website, www.firstcapitalconnect.co.uk. On there you'll find the latest travel information and information on all of the upcoming services and their booking times and if they are delayed and by how many minutes.
The South African Paralympic champion Oscar Pistorius is in court in Pretoria facing a murder charge. He's accused of shooting dead his girlfriend Riva Steenkamp at his home in the city yesterday morning. Our correspondent Andrew Harding explains what happens next.
The focus is going to be on the application for bail, and we're going to have to hear from Oscar Pistorius' lawyers who will argue as to why they believe he should be granted bail, and then we'll hear from the police who will have to justify why they believe he should not be granted bail, and that will give both sides an opportunity to present at least some evidence about what happened at the estate here.
The Coronation Street star Michael Lavelle, who plays Kevin Webster, has been charged with 19 sexual offences, including raping a child. He's due to appear in court in Manchester at the end of the month. A £50,000 grant given to revive Bedford's High Street still hasn't been spent 9 months on. Bedford was one of 12 towns across the country to take part in the pilot, headed up by retail expert Mary Portas. Most Church of England leaders privately support gay marriage, according to the openly gay Dean of St Albans. The Very Reverend Dr Geoffrey John says says there's a real gulf between the public morality of the church and the views held behind closed doors. He's also been telling MPs he fears the Church of England is attempting to appease the church in Africa to avoid creating a rift. In sport, England won the toss and have already fielded. They're now batting in the third and final 2020 international against New Zealand in Wellington. A short time ago, they were 34 without loss, chasing 139. The weather dry and bright with a top temperature of 9 degrees Celsius. That's 48 degrees Fahrenheit. There's more news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties. BBC Three Counties Radio. First for news.
Catherine Boyle?
Yes.
Hello? Can you hear me?
I can, but there's a delay, so you're going to have to pause.
I will always pause for you. This isn't a pause. I'm continuing talking. We're talking irritating songs. What irritating songs do you find irritating? Pause.
The irritating song I find irritating is that we had joy, we had fun, we had seasons in the sun. Because it's got about 1 million key changes.
Thanks very much, Catherine Boyle. Yeah, that was awkward, wasn't it? Oh, the joys of the delay. You kids these days, in the 80s and early 90s, whenever there was a satellite link-up on a television show, whenever they got a guest live from Los Angeles, the delay was all part of it. You could have, I remember whole episodes of The Wogan Show. Yeah, he had his own TV show, where it was all delay. So we're going to go now live to Dudley Moore in LA. And it was just awkward nonsense. Well, that's what we're trying to recreate here on BBC Three Counties Radio. Good morning, this is Iain Lee. Coming live from St George's Square in Luton. If you want to come down and say hello, we're here until 9 o'clock. You're more than welcome. Lots coming up between now and 9 o'clock, including police are preparing for the Luton Town Millwall FA Cup game tomorrow. Hundreds of officers will be there. And Milton Keynes Dons take on Barnsley. Will you be going? We'll be speaking to Luton Managing Director Gary Sweet and MK Dons Chairman Pete Winkleman. Tens of thousands of pounds was given to Bedford business leaders to revamp the high street as part of the Mary Portas pilot. Well, 9 months on, guess what? They've spent hardly anything. What do you think the money should be spent on? And there's this poor woman who for the last 3 years has had How Much Is That Doggy in the Window floating around in her head. It's the most annoying earworm that she's got. What's the most annoying song of all time? Lots of ways to get in touch. 08459 455 555 81333. Start your text 3CR. Or you can go to facebook.com/BBC 3CR.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Smooth. Now, a major police operation will get underway in Luton tomorrow ahead of the FA Cup tie between Luton Town and Millwall. Bedfordshire Police say around 300 officers will be used to police the fifth round game, including officers at train stations approaching the town. The last time the two sides met in the FA Cup at Luton was back in 1985 when they reached the quarter-final. The Hatters won 1-0 and went through to the semi-final thanks to a Brian Steen goal. But violence broke out. Well, Managing Director Gary Sweet is on the line. Morning, Gary.
Morning, Ian.
You're confident this is going to be a peaceful game, aren't you?
Yeah, we are. We're all ready. We've got our plans in place. They've been meticulously looked over, and we're... football's different now, you know. Inside the stadium, we've got ample protection for the supporters, and supporters, you know, are now in much safer environments anyway. So I'm expecting that we'll have a very good atmosphere inside, and you know, a very peaceful situation.
Lots of police are going to be there. Listen, I'm naive when it comes to football. How does that work? Do you book them in and pay them?
We pay for broadly what's inside the ground, you know, and what happens outside the ground would be deemed as a social situation rather than a football situation, and so that's rather a football, you know, something else, a rule that happens across the world of football in the UK, rather than particularly at Luton. So we have a charging basis with the police in Luton, and we pay for what police force are used within the stadium.
But hey, listen, if you go through, you've done well so far financially. You go through, there are big bucks with your name on, aren't there?
If we go through, we can afford the police. Yeah.
You can buy the police. How much do you get if you win this one?
Well, the prize money is 180,000. On top of that, we'll probably get TV money again, which will be another 230, and then the gate money from whatever fixture we're drawn against on Sunday.
These are exciting times for the club. What's the spirit amongst the players like at the moment?
Well, I've got to say the spirit has been this week a little bit sombre because of our league form. And if we were to be able to dissect league away from FA Cup, then I think it would be completely different. You know, they're all looking forward to tomorrow's game, of course. But I think the underlying factor is that every single player, you know, every single member of staff, the manager, myself, and the board would rather us actually be turning on a little bit of performance in the league rather than.
Well, I was going to mention that, Gary. A few people posted on our Facebook page yesterday saying, "Yeah, look, this is all well and good, but we're struggling in the league because of the attention on the FA Cup. That the league is more important." What would you say to those fans, Gary?
No, absolutely right. The league is massive. I mean, it's just what I've said. You know, we believe that the league is far more important than an FA Cup run. It's great to have the finances come in from a cup run because that can help your league performance. And actually, you know, there's no science, there's no evidence to say that, you know, a good cup run affects your league performance badly. In fact, in previous seasons, we can recollect situations where it's had a much more positive effect on a club's league performance and ours too, you know. So it's one of those things we can't put a finger exactly why the cup run, if it in fact is the cup run, is having an effect on our league performances. But certainly from next Tuesday, you know, is the serious business. Tomorrow is a bit of a sideshow.
What's your prediction for the game tomorrow, Gary?
My prediction is going to be a safe, fun place to be, and you know, and look, I mean, whatever happens with the result, we've had a great run, and we've really enjoyed it.
I want numbers, Mr. Sweet. Give me numbers. Come on, 2-0,
no,
3-0. It's my first game I'm going to.
Iain, and your first game tomorrow, so I'm predicting that we'll meet, and then you can enjoy your first game of football, and maybe become a regular. I'm sorry, looking forward to it. Dealey is going to take my hand and look after me and treat me kindly. Gary, have a great day tomorrow, and if I get a chance, I'll pop along and say hello. Please do.
That's Managing Director Gary Sweet. Thank you very much there. We've got a lady here. Let's just have a little... Hello, my dear. What's your name?
My name's Eileen.
Hello, Eileen. Are you Nanny Eileen?
I am.
It's Nanny Eileen! Oh, Nanny Eileen!
Come and see you.
Look at you. How lovely to see you. This is wonderful. You look exactly how I imagined. Listen, I'm doing a thing about the football. You're a big fan of the Luton Town, are you?
Well, I live in Luton and I live near the football ground and can't miss it.
I'm going tomorrow. It's my first ever football match, Nanny Eileen. I'm a little bit worried. What's your prediction? Well, I'm worried it might kick off or something.
Oh, I don't think so. The police are there on keeping everything under control.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of this is people panic over all this. You know, let's have a rumble. And no, it's not going to happen.
What's your prediction for the score tomorrow, Nanny Eileen?
Luton to win. I don't care how many, but I want them to win.
It's so nice to meet you. Listen, Justin Dealey's going to go... Stay here, Nanny Eileen. We'll have a proper chat in a second. I'm doing a radio show, a bit busy at the moment, but I believe Justin Dealey is over there with some potential football fans. Justin, who have you got?
Yes, hello. I'm about to jump on a bus here. Sir, what's your name?
Tim.
Tim, you're live across Beds, Hearts and Bucks. Big Luton Town supporter. Huge game tomorrow. Ian's first game. Can Luton do it? What do you think?
I honestly think we definitely can.
Yeah, what's the score going to be?
It's going to be 2-0 to Luton.
And try and describe the atmosphere, because Kenilworth Road's at a very tight ground. It's a sellout for Iain. It's his first game. What's the atmosphere going to be like? Sell it to him.
It's going to be absolutely mental. I mean, the last couple of games I've been to, the support's been crazy. It's going to be Luton Millwall. It's going to be twice as medal. It's going to be absolutely crazy on that.
Brilliant stuff. Have a good day at work. And sir, what's your name, the bus driver?
John Reid.
Hello, John. You're live across Beds, Hearts and Bucks. Are you a Luton supporter?
Second team.
Okay, second team. That's good enough for me. A score prediction from you as well?
Probably about 1-0 to Luton, I think.
Putting you right on the spot there. 1-0 to the Town. Have a great weekend.
Yep.
Thank you very much indeed. So there you go. Do you know what, Ian? Interestingly enough, every single person I've spoken to this morning has been really confident of a Luton victory. Nobody has said to me they've got no chance at all. Everyone is right up for the cup. And I cannot wait to get you inside the ground tomorrow. All right.
So I'm sorry, Justin. I've just met Nanny Eileen for the first time. Nanny Eileen, this is Justin Dealey. He's one of my reporters.
Oh, I'm very well. Yourself?
Yeah, fine.
Lovely to meet you. Lovely hat.
And you.
Very
nice.
Very nice.
Right, listen, you two carry on having a chat. I've got a guest on the line. That's exciting, isn't it? That's my Nanny Eileen. Well, listen, it's not the only football match that's happening tomorrow, because MK Dons take on Barnsley at home in the 5th round of the FA Cup. It's a 3 p.m. kick-off. Pete Winkleman is chairman of the MK Dons. Morning, Pete. You stand quite a good chance. Are you confident about this tomorrow?
I think in the FA Cup, anything can happen. I think that's the beauty of it. With all the Luton fans looking forward to the Millwall game, we've got all the MK Dons fans looking forward to Barnsley. And I think it's fantastic that both clubs have done so well in the FA Cup this year.
What's the feeling like amongst the players at the moment?
I think the FA Cup's a chance for people to let their hair down and relax. The pressures we've just heard on Luton in the league is exactly the same for us. The league games are full of pressure because we all want to do so well and get promoted. But the FA Cup is that chance for a distraction. It's the chance for the underdog. It's going to be a fantastic occasion, and if we could both do well, who knows? Milton Keynes, Luton in the quarterfinals, that would be something to look forward to.
Do you ever feel a little bit... We at BBC Three Counties Radio have faced a little bit of criticism for focusing on Luton and kind of just giving a nod to MK Dons. Do you ever feel that you're being slightly overshadowed by Luton? Because this is huge for you guys.
No, I think it's huge for both clubs, and I think Luton have had a really hard time in the last few years. Lots of points deductions, not the supporters' fault at all, and they find themselves in the conference, and I can understand why Gary wants to be doing better in the league, but I know they're going to have a fantastic occasion tomorrow, and for Milton Keynes Dons, it's the first time we've ever been in the fifth round, so we're really looking forward to it too.
Now, listen, Pete, don't wimp out like Mr. Sweet did. I want numbers from you. What's your prediction for tomorrow's match?
Gary was smack on.
What is going on with you guys?
I think Nanny Eileen should be the person that should be the predictor, because it's so hard when you're involved to give a score result. But I know for some of the supporters out there, it might be a little bit easier. I hope we win. I think it's going to be really close in both games, but I think both Luton and Milton Keynes have got a really good chance of getting through.
Pete, listen, enjoy the day tomorrow and best of luck, fingers crossed.
Thank you very much, Ian.
Excellent stuff. Pete Winkelman there, chairman of the MK Dons. Some Facebook messages, facebook.com/BBC3CR. Michael says, Ian, your first football game, you're going to love it. Where are you sitting? Just where are we sitting tomorrow?
We're sitting in the PA box.
We're sitting where?
In the PA box.
Does that mean we're away from the plebs?
That means you're behind glass. So don't worry.
It's safe. Oh, and those Facebook messages have just gone. I'm not quite sure where they went. Ollie, you're fired. But he says it's going to be a fantastic atmosphere and it's definitely something to look forward to. Right, it's 8:15 on the nose. Let's go and get the travel news with Sophie Tyler.
Beds, Hearts and Bucks travel.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
No major changes out there at the moment. Heading through Clop Hill at Warren Lane, we're getting lots of reports of ice in the area, particularly at the A6. Do be aware heading down in that direction. And through Harlow, Elizabeth Way heading east is still blocked following a serious accident between Flex Meadow and St Catherine's Way. No usual delays elsewhere on the A10 heading south just between Turnford and Winston Churchill Way. Delays of around 15 minutes there. And also on the Gate Cambridge Road, queuing between Bullsmore Lane and Southby Road as well. Everything else not looking too bad. Few usual delays on the M25 between 16 at the M40 and 15 at the M4, and delays of 30 minutes possible on East Midlands trains and First Capital Connect between Luton and St Pancras International, all following the overhead line problems at Radlett. Sophie Tyler, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much, Sophie. 8:16, Friday the 15th of February. These are your headlines this morning on BBC Three Counties Radio. Around 300 Bedfordshire officers will be deployed at tomorrow's FA Cup tie between Luton and Millwall. Thameslink commuters are set for another day of delays and cancellations as Network Rail's efforts to fix overhead lines at Radlett continue. In sport, a short time ago, England's cricketers were 58 without loss, chasing a target of 140 to win the third and final 2020 international against New Zealand. Today's weather in Beds, Hearts and Bucks, dry and bright with a top temperature of 9 degrees. And coming up next, we hear from the people who've been given... hang on a second, a mysterious card has been handed to me with my name spelt incorrectly. This isn't it, but we're going to hear from the people who've been given £50,000 to rejuvenate Bedford High Street to see where it's gone.
BBC Three Counties Radio. Nick Coffer on BBC Three Counties Radio.
No 2 days are ever the same on my programme. That's because I get to meet passionate local people.
As usual, over a pint in the Queen's Head one night in Amtel, we said, hey, why don't we have a pop-up cinema? And we just got together and we convert Parkside Hall into a cinema.
Play loads of great music. The Birds, Mr. Tambourine Man. Tell me which other show on the radio goes from Leanne Rimes to Elvis Presley. And sometimes I try to learn new skills. And then you've got the white thread basically connected to these bobbins, which make dead. I may have messed them up.
Nick Coffer, Monday to Saturday from 12 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Boop, 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 boop. He was out and about yesterday at Bedford Hospital, and boy, it was captivating radio, but he's in the studio now, listening to how it should be done. It's JVS. Good morning, Jonathan Vernon-Smith.
Thank you. Yes, I've learnt many lessons from you this morning.
You cheeky little so-and-so. There's a tone in your voice. Hey, Jonathan, I've been handed a well, I'm assuming it's a Valentine's card. It could be a cease and desist order. Let's have a little look. They've spelt my name... Oh, they've spelt my name wrong on the front. Oh, no, it's a congratulations on your new home. Oh, it's from Nanny Eileen, and she sent me a picture of her cats.
Oh, so it wasn't a Valentine's?
No, Persephone, the pretty calico cat, and the two tuxedo boys, Pie Wacket and Felix, feral cats who moved in when my old 18-year-old Mr. Tiggywinkle went over the Rainbow Bridge. I met my Nanny Eileen today, Jonathan.
Bless Nanny Eileen.
Was absolutely delightful. What a lovely, lovely lady.
Yes. Is Nanny Eileen still with you?
Yes, she is. Let's just go have a quick word. Nanny Eileen, hi, say hello.
Hello, Nanny Eileen.
And what's your name, sir?
Ollie.
Ollie, what... Shut up, Jonathan. Ollie, what are you doing loitering in St George's Square?
Oh, I just come out to check out the fair. Now I just come out to see what's happening. Go get a coffee and chill.
You go and chill, sir. You go and have a chill. Jonathan, I'll be honest.
Yes.
The police have literally just turned up, and Gareth and Kelly are talking to them, and the policeman's pointing to his watch. That's never a good thing when the policeman points to a watch, is it?
Oh, no, it's not. You've got to be moved on.
I think we're going to be moved on. Quickly, tell us what's happening on your show today.
Coming up at 9 on the Big Phone-In, is there anything that can be done to stop dog attacks? MPs have accused the government of comprehensively failing to tackle the problem of irresponsible dog ownership in England. Figures show that dogs have killed 5 children and 2 adults in private homes since 2007. Last week, proposed changes to dog controls were announced, but the Commons Environment Committee says they're belated and woefully inadequate. Well, this morning at 9 on the Big Phone-In, I want to hear your views on this. Is there anything more that can be done to stop dog attacks? I mean, let's face it, lots of things have been done already. Are you ever going to eradicate the risk that a dog poses? Is there anything more that can be done, or should we just face it that, unfortunately, the occasional dog attack will always happen in this country? I want your views and your ideas, your suggestions from 9. 08459 455 555. Is there anything more that can be done to stop dog attacks?
Jonathan, thank you for that. I did thoroughly enjoy your show yesterday. I thought you did a cracking job. I've just been told that the policeman is a guest later on in the show, so I was genuinely worried for a minute. I thought he'd heard this broadcast and right, get off. We're going to get Preva back. Jonathan, listen, I look forward to listening to you at 9 o'clock. See you later on.
Thanks.
Ta-ta. Now, we're talking about annoying songs after this poor lady has, in the paper today, has got she's got a form of tinnitus, which means she constantly has a song going round in her head. The song that she's got is How Much Is That Doggy in the Window? What songs annoy you? Fifi has tweeted, shut up your face. I'm assuming that's a reference to the song and not a criticism of the show. Michaela says the Birdie song. Cheers for that, Ian. It's stuck in my head all day. Yes. Now, Sarah... Right on time, 'cause you're right on time, right on time. And Sandra says, the Crazy Frog, it's the worst tune ever and no escape from it. 08459 455 555. Text 81333. Start your text 3CR or facebook.com/BBC 3CR.
Call 08459 455 555.
08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
I'm going to find out who played that jingle, and they're going to be... Oh, this mic's on. Sorry, we'll discuss that later off air. Now, you may remember that about 9 months ago, Bedford was announced as one of the towns which was going to be part of the Mary Portas pilot. It would receive money to revive its high street. Well, Mary Portas explained why something needed to be done.
We're losing shops,
we're losing retailers, and what's ending up in some instances, we've got, practical ghost towns. At the end of 2008, we had about 6% of town, and it's not just local, it's town centres as well, shops are vacant. By the end of 2010, that went up to about nearly 15%, doubling, and if that keeps up, we'll have town centres and high streets with a third of our shops just missing.
Well, 9 months on, and Bedford hasn't yet spent the 50-odd thousand pounds it was given. In fact, only £3,500 has been spent, 1.5 of that on postcards. Well, Christina Rowe is director of Bedford BID, which stands for Business Improvement Districts. They've got the money to spend. And, Christina, why haven't you spent it?
Yes, good morning to you. The programme that we have got for Bedford BID is a rollout programme, a programme that's going to last us probably for about 12 months or so. So we've taken it in bite-sized chunks. We've done a couple of things before Christmas. One of the parts of our application was very much about our environment, what our town looks like, and particularly our vacant units. So we did a project with a local artist and tried a new approach with vinyls on one of our vacant units, one of our large vacant units. So we've completed that. But also, too, one of the key points for us was that when we put the application together, we didn't want to think that we was arrogant enough to think that we knew everything as to what people might want done to their high street. So we've done a consultation event as well, and part of that, the findings of that will start to be rolled out. But more importantly, one of the key parts of the Porter's recommendations was about working with larger businesses. And so over the course of the last few months, we've been putting together a programme to work with larger businesses to roll out some training and mentoring programmes in the spring.
£1,500 on postcards?
Oh, yeah, postcards. The Postcards Initiative, we are very proud of the number of independent businesses that we have in Bedford. And so what we did was we did an approach whereby we would promote exactly that, to get people to shop and come back locally for Christmas shopping. So we used the postcard idea for people during the half term to make sure that they were aware of what the opening hours were going to be over the Christmas period and to highlight some of the aspects of why to shop local.
So what, you were just handing them out or something?
Yes, when people are in businesses, when people are shopping in the businesses, it's about pre-promoting stuff that's going to go on in the town later on to bring them back.
Do you think that works? Because whenever I get handed a flyer or something in the street, I either don't take it or it goes straight in the bin.
Oh, well, as far as we're concerned...
And I would suspect most people do the same.
Well, it's a technique that it does work in as much as the feedback that we've had, the number of postcards, first of all, that we handed out. And in actual fact, what also we found that people were using them and actually were using them as postcards to send on as well. So, and in terms of the feedback that we had also from businesses as regards to people coming back, then it says to us that, yes, it did help prompt and remind people about shopping locally and also to highlight the times of the opening times for Christmas.
How do you gauge how successful that's been? Is there a percentage of those postcards that were used or that people that responded to them?
Yeah, we talk very closely with businesses, and this is very much about what we have to do is to gauge everything that we do with them to see how successful things are, to get the initial feedback, particularly from the businesses, and to get their response from it.
We spoke to a barber today who said he'd seen no difference whatsoever. He saw the nice little wraparound you did on a closed shop, but that was it. That was the only thing he'd spotted that was different.
I'm so sorry. The question is.
Well, he's in Bedford. He's not seen any difference.
He's not seen any difference in what the...
Sorry, maybe the line's breaking down. Perhaps you can't hear me. Let me put that to you again. We spoke to someone who works in Bedford. He's seen no difference apart from one shop has got a wraparound. What's your response to that?
Yeah, as I said, the programme is exactly that we've a different approach for the empty unit, which is what we've done. The consultation event, which is also as well what we're using that evidence for further work. But also the key thing, as I say, is going to be the mentoring and the programming, the training that we will be rolling out in the spring. And we've been talking to local businesses about when is the best time for them to attend these training and mentoring sessions. So they will be hearing more about this later on in the spring.
And when does that start? When does the training and mentoring start? And who's going to benefit from it?
Yeah, there's two prongs to it. There's existing businesses as well as new businesses. The existing businesses, it's about helping people to understand online, their online presence, and developing it alongside their actual business. So all businesses, particularly the high street businesses, they will be invited to attend. And that's going to include things like, as you'd expect, e-commerce, social media, shop window displays, marketing and customer service. We've also got planned for start-up businesses, and it would include all of that, but also too about business planning. We've had constructive talks already with some of our large businesses in town who are very keen to engage, which is really encouraging, to support some of the smaller independent businesses. And as I say, that should
Christina, listen, we're running out of time. We've got to end it there. I appreciate you coming on. Christina Rowe, Director of Bedford Bid, telling us what's going to happen with that money. 08459 455 555. We're talking about irritating songs. And I believe Justin Dealey is... Oh, Justin, stop bothering bus drivers. There are people trying to get to work, for goodness sakes.
They love it, Ian. I'm live on the bus with Keith. Keith, you're live across Beds, Herts and Bucks. Welcome to the programme. What's the most irritating song of all time, then?
The Birdie song.
Can you sing it for us?
No.
Oh, come on, please.
Absolutely
Come on, I'll
not.
pay you.
You have got
50
no
pence.
chance. You have got no chance. Yeah. On your bike.
Why is it so annoying?
It's just, every time it comes on, it just sort of grates you.
Okay. Now, you're not a Luton supporter. You're not a Millwall supporter. You're totally impartial. What's the score going to be tomorrow?
It's going to be Luton 0, Millwall 3.
Very nice. Yeah. Thank you very much. We'll leave it there. There you go, Keith, the bus driver. The first person all morning who said that Millwall are going to win tomorrow. But the Birdie song, that's the second nomination now this morning, just from the people here, the Birdie song being the most annoying, the most irritating song of all time, Ian.
Yeah, the Birdie song, Blobby, and Shut Up Your Face are all, and that last one was an instruction, seem to be the tops, don't they, for the annoying songs?
Yeah, big contenders. I mean, the Birdie song I can understand because we've all been to those parties that are going so well, and then suddenly, here comes the Birdie song, everybody, and after a few drinks, let's be honest, it doesn't sound too bad, but before then, it sounds horrendous.
Justin, excellent stuff. Speak to you a little bit later on. It's 8:29. Let's get the travel now with Sophie Tyler.
Herts and Bucks travel.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Starting off with some good news, first of all, a normal service has resumed on East Midlands trains between Luton and St Pancras International following earlier overhead line problems at Radlett and delays of only 15 minutes now on First Capital Connect between Luton and St Pancras as well. Looks like it will start to ease up. Now don't forget Elizabeth Way heading east through Harlow, still looking like it is blocked following an accident between Flex Meadow and St Catherine's Way, and anti-clockwise on the M25, delays between 16 at the M40 and 15 at the M4. Barnet bypass also slow where you'd expect, heading south between Stirling Corner and Mill Hill Circus, and southbound on the A10 at the Great Cambridge Road, also queuing between Bullsmore Lane and Southbury Road. Everything else not too bad at all. There's more in 15 minutes.
Getting Beds, Herts and Bucks talking.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning with the 8:30 headlines. I'm Catherine Boyle. Around 300 Bedfordshire police officers will be deployed at tomorrow's FA Cup tie between Luton and Millwall. Thameslink commuters are being warned that they're set for another day of delays as Network Rail's efforts to fix overhead lines at Radlett continue. And the South African Paralympic champion Oscar Pistorius is in court in Pretoria, accused of murdering his girlfriend Reva Steenkamp.
Beds, Herts and Bucks Sport.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
England are batting in the third and final 2020 international against New Zealand. They need 140 to win the series, and a short time ago they were 100 without loss. In football, MK Dons manager Carl Robinson will start Alan Smith up front in tomorrow's FA Cup fifth round clash against Championship club Barnsley. It's expected that Luke Chadwick will keep his starting place on the side and link up with Smith for the first time since October 2012.
Last time them two played together as a two was Scunthorpe away. Shows you how many injury problems we've had. We won 3-0. Chaddy scored 2 that day and Smithy scored the other. I'll take that. I'll take that now.
Luton Town defender Wayne Thomas won't be playing in tomorrow's FA Cup fifth round match against Millwall. The Hatters still haven't received international clearance for him. Kenilworth Road will be a sellout, and for manager Paul Buckle, it's a significant game.
Well, yeah, it's not about me, really. You know, it's about the football club. Of course, everybody said, would you change this for promotion? I would. I can't do this. This is the biggest game for me because it's the next one, and I mean that, and it's the biggest one for the club because there's a great opportunity to make some history.
Watford are in league action away to Birmingham tomorrow in the Championship. Defender Tommy Hoburn's an injury doubt for the Hornets. And finally, ahead of next week's World Track Cycling Championships, Cheshunt's Great Britain cyclist Laura Trott says she's as motivated as ever to succeed. Trott won 2 gold medals at London's Olympics and will compete in the team pursuit in Belarus. She feels her Olympic success hasn't blunted her competitive edge.
Well, I just want to win. That is my motivation, winning, and that feeling you get when you do win, and just making people happy. I like that. So I just love getting up on my bike, because obviously all I do every day is wake up, eat my breakfast, go out on my bike, go back, go out on my bike in the afternoon, go to bed. That is pretty much my day.
And that's your latest news and sport. More from me at 9 o'clock.
Across beds, hearts and bucks, this is Iain Lee on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio, coming live from St George's Square in Luton. And we've had so many lovely people coming along, waving, shaking hands, a lot of people just staring at us. And then when either me or Justin go up to them and go, yes, hello, they run away giggling, oh, no. So I don't know what that's all about, but everyone's been very, very lovely, and thank you very much. We've got another 30 minutes of this guff. If you want to come down and say hello, you're more than welcome to, with a big red bus next to the fairground in St George's Square. Coming up before 9 o'clock, I'm going to be joined by Chief Superintendent Mike Colburn, who'll be explaining how the Luton Town Millwall game will be policed tomorrow. And 5 men will be sentenced today after they were found guilty of causing death by dangerous driving after a crash for cash scam. We'll be finding out more about the scam and what can be done about it. In fact, that's what we're going to do now, because 5 men will be sentenced today after they were found guilty of causing death by dangerous driving after a crash for cash scam, which resulted in someone dying in Buckinghamshire. Baljinder Kaur Gill is thought to be the first person in Britain to be killed because of the scam. She was killed after her car was damaged and disabled in an accident rigged by the men, leaving her stranded in the fast lane of the A40. She was then hit by another vehicle not involved in the scam and killed instantly. The driver of that vehicle has been convicted of death by careless driving. Well, the Insurance Fraud Bureau Director, based in Milton Keynes, is Phil Bird. Phil, good morning. What more can you tell me about these cash for crash scams?
Good morning, Ian. What we do know is that currently the scams cost around about £400 million each year, and that adds around about £50 to everybody's insurance policy. And they operate in a number of ways. You've talked about the tragic incident on the A40, which was basically an induced accident. So somebody makes a manoeuvre in front of another vehicle, slams their brakes on, and the poor individual, innocent motorist, hits them from behind. But you even get people taking vehicles to yards, smashing them up in accidents that are non-existent, and then actually also claims that just vehicles that never happened, passengers that never happened, and fake claims being put in. And that's costing, as I say, an awful lot of money. But much more importantly, there are the potential for people getting hurt and killed, as we've seen. These are incidents with moving vehicles.
We're hearing more and more about these scams taking place on our roads. Why? It's just to make money, is it?
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole purpose of it. It's pretty low investment stuff. These people buy vehicles at auction, or they approach individuals whose cars are near the end of their life, and with a promise of a small payment, use their vehicles in such incidents. But the reason we're hearing more and more about it is that the insurance industry and the police are placing ever more focus on investigating this activity. The insurance industry invests £200 million plus a year in anti-fraud activity. There's a new police department dedicated to the investigation of insurance fraud, which we never had before. And then, of course, the insurance industry has been investing in the Insurance Fraud Bureau for some time. So it's as much about the fact that we're able to identify and investigate many more of these incidents than we were before. And that's why I think it's hitting the news. How
can an insurance company spot that there is a scam going on? Are there obvious signs, or how do they know?
Well, the there's a number of things that can be seen. One of the common features, for instance, is that a policy gets taken out and within days of the policy inception, an incident happens. Now, on average, you would expect an incident to happen sometime over the period, and the average would, of course, be 6 months into a policy period. So if you're seeing a pattern of claims very shortly after inception, that would raise suspicion. But you can also see it when you analyse data that common mobile phones are being used to report incidents. There might be many claims coming out of the same address. You even see many claims on the same vehicle. So really, it's about data analysis. That's how the insurers and the Insurance Fraud Bureau can see these scams in operation.
I find it absolutely fascinating. Phil Bird, thank you very much indeed. That's Phil Bird there from the Insurance Fraud Bureau. You try saying that at this time in the morning. And just a story that will go on and on.
Across beds, hearts and bucks, this is Iain Lee on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Now, throughout our special 24-hour broadcast here on BBC Three Counties, we've been following the production of a Vivaro van along the track at Luton employer Vauxhall. Well, as you heard this morning, our reporter Sophie Solaria has been up all night, and she's been following its progress this morning. Sophie Solaria, where are they?
Iain Lee, it's the final stages of the journey of the Vivaro. It started with Ben in the press and body shop, which stamps and welds the parts of the van. We then heard from Richard, who learnt about the painting of the vehicles. And now to me, the van is done. I'm in it. I'm winging my way to join you at the St George's Square in Luton. However, I've not been allowed to drive the van because Ben told them quite unfairly that I was a bad driver. So
I don't think it's unfair, Sophie. Let's be honest. You're second only to Justin Dealey as being a bad driver.
And both of us drive the radio car, so that says a lot.
Hey, Sophie, you've just driven past us. Come back. You've gone. Where are you going?
Oh, no. Okay,
come back.
Don't worry.
Oh, for goodness sakes.
Eric's escorting me to you all. Eric is the quality control manager at Fox.
Eric, you muppet, you've driven past us.
Well, we're just doing a circuit, so we're okay.
We have to test drive the vehicles, Ian.
You can hear me.
He tests
Okay, sorry.
vehicles. What,
Is
Eric?
What's it like in there, Sophie? Come on, give us a picture.
Oh, it's warm. It's the warmest I've been all day. It's got a big steering wheel, 3 seats, so there's 3 of us in here, so it's nice and cosy. It's got all the mod cons. It's got a radio. And actually, when I got in here, I noticed that they hadn't preset their radio to BBC Three Counties Radio. So Eric's actually promised me one thing. Eric, what have you promised me today?
Well, Sophie, I think what we do, we have to test all radios in plant, so what we can do is preset them to your channel, so that all customers, first thing they hear is you guys every morning.
That's right. Every Vivaro van that drives out of the Luton plant of Vauxhall will have us on its preset, Ian. Isn't that fabulous?
Oh, that's exciting. Look, we can see you now. Look this way. Come this way. Come on, here we go. You're allowed to drive in the square, Eric. Drive in the square. We've got permission. There's a policeman over here. He's on our side. He's in our pocket.
There we
go.
Oh,
We're here.
Sophie, and wonderful DAB quality.
Isn't
Listen
this
to that.
fabulous? Here we go. We're being waved in by BBC Three
This
Counties.
is our driver.
Oh, it's you.
Be careful you
Hello.
don't knock him down. It would be a terrible loss.
I can't actually hear you, you know. I'm going
you're
to
not.
have to put some
Sophie, you
headphones on.
carry on chatting then. Go on.
I'm going to bring Eric with me.
Well, the van has arrived. This is perhaps the most exciting thing I've ever been involved in. The van has arrived in St George's Square. Sophie, you've been up all night, haven't you, Soph?
Absolutely. I've been up all night.
How are you feeling now?
I've got Kelly Betts attached. I'm feeling absolutely shattered, to be honest. I was up at 12 o'clock, midnight last night. I've been freezing. I was on a milk round earlier. A milk round with
Is that a euphemism?
It's not. I was on a milk float. I don't know what that means. It was not a euphemism.
Eric, you've been with Sophie. I can only apologise.
No, she's been great. She's loads of fun. And now she's a lot warmer as well because we managed to warm her up in our Vivaro, so that's great.
You had the heating on, yeah?
Absolutely, full blast. She needed it, I think.
And is it true that you're actually going to give me one of these vans to take home with me this morning?
I would love to do that, actually.
Thank you very much.
However, there's always a however. There may be some financial requirements on the van, yeah?
What you're saying is I've got to buy one.
You may have to put your hand in your pocket, absolutely.
Sophie, you were there.
I was there.
You saw things happening. Describe what you saw this morning at the Vauxhall plant.
Oh, it was brilliant. I saw burly men driving Vivaros. They were white, they were blue, they were red, they were rolling off the line. I was in the middle of it. They were making it. I was at the heart of the action. And guess what? They do pink ones, you know. Don't they, Gareth?
How do the pink vans go down?
We have customers that want colours. So I was telling Sophie earlier, it's like a Smarties factory we have, because you can have whatever colour you want. If you want a pink one, you can have one. And we have done some rather snazzy colours, actually.
I'm trying to place your accent. It's either New Zealand or South African.
No, you missed out on both cases. It's the other one, Australia.
Oh, really? You sound more Kiwi than Aussie. Is that a good or bad thing?
That's a bad thing.
I see. It's like that. You've had all our reporters there with you throughout the night. Do you think they got a sense of the work that goes into making one of these bad boys?
I hope they did, because, we really care about what we do. We are passionate about our vans, and we make sure that our customers always get what they think they want and even exceed that. So, and I hope you get a feeling of that, because we really think that we are an important part of the Luton culture.
Eric, we just go off on a slight tangent. This morning we've been talking about irritating songs. There's a poor woman who's got How Much Is That Doggy in the Window stuck in her head for 3 years. You being an Australian, and please don't take offence to this, but you have terrible music over there. And you've reminded me of Men at Work, Land Down Under. That's kind of an irritating... Are there any songs that you find incredibly irritating, that when you're at work they just get stuck in your head and you can't shake them?
There's a Christmas one that keeps going around every year that... I can't remember what it's called, actually, but we play it in the plant. We have the radios playing in the plant every year, and it's annoying.
They're the worst thing. It's very nice to meet you, sir. Thank you very much, and well done for tuning all of the radios to BBC Three Counties Radio, which is very, very exciting indeed. Oh, we've got a caller, have we? Let's go and have a little look who we've got. We've got Glenn on the line. Hello, Glenn.
Hello, Ian. How are you?
Glenn, you're in Leighton Buzzard. We're talking about irritating songs. What's your irritating song, please, sir?
Da 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 by Trio.
Oh, Dealey, he's brought up a classic. That's a classic, isn't it?
Da da da.
But it was also
da da da.
That was also
an
advert
all done on the little Casio.
But it was also an advert as well, wasn't it, for a well-known washing machine brand? Do you remember that?
It was, and I've just remembered another song that was used. Is more famous for an advert. Hello, John, got a Toshiba. Hello, John, got a new motor. And that was Alexi Sale, and I sing that to my boy, and it's irritating. Irritates me, irritates my boy, irritates... Hello, John, got a new motor. Hello, John, got a new motor. Oh, do you know what? Of all the songs, Glenn, thank you for that, Glenn, by the way. Cheers for calling. Okay. The Da 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 is going to be stuck in my head.
It's right up there. It's around the same sort of time as B.A. Robertson. Bang, bang, the mighty fall. Ha, 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 ha.
Let's be honest, this morning's show has just been me and Dealey bonding and sounding like drunk people and singing songs together.
It's been fun, though. It's been
fun for us, Justin. Yes, I don't know if it's been fun for the listeners in DAB quality. It's 8:44. Let's get the travel news now. Here's Sophie Tyler.
Beds, Hearts and Bucks travel.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Anti-clockwise on the M25, looking at delays between 16 at the M40 and 15 at the M4, and also clockwise fairly slow as well between 24 at Potters Bar and 25 at the A10. Now heading south on the A1 at the Barnet Bypass, still slow between Stirling Corner and Mill Hill Circus, and also on the A10 heading south, fairly slow and queuing just around Turnford at the Great Cambridge Road and Winston Churchill Way as well. Now heading elsewhere through Harlow Elizabeth Way, heading east is still blocked following an accident between Flex Meadow and St Catherine's Way, and we still have delays of 15 minutes possible on First Capital Connect services between Luton and St Pancras due to the earlier overhead line problems at Radlett. Sophie Tyler, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Okay. Right, 8:45, another 15 minutes left of our 24-hour live broadcast. BBC Three Counties Radio. Here's your news headlines. Around 300 Bedfordshire officers will be deployed at tomorrow's FA Cup tie between Luton and Millwall. Thameslink commuters face another day of delays and cancellations as Network Rail continues with efforts to fix overhead lines at Radlett. And in sport, Gareth Bale scored an injury time winner. Sport! To give Tottenham a 2-1 victory over Lyon in the first leg of their last 32 tie in the Europa League. Coming up next, we've got Chief Superintendent Mike Colburn from Bedfordshire Police to talk about the Luton-Millwall game tomorrow. But before that, here's the weather with Elizabeth Rizzini.
Beds, Hearts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hello, a very good morning to you once more. It's a chilly start to the day, but those temperatures will rise quite nicely. Lots of brightness and sunshine out there already. Now we'll see highs of around 8 or 9 degrees Celsius, 48 in Fahrenheit for Milton Keynes, Leighton Buzzard, for Tring and Aylesbury as well, 8 degrees Celsius here. That's 46 in Fahrenheit. Not quite as mild as it was yesterday, but light winds. It will feel pleasant in the sunshine, and there'll certainly be plenty of that. The cloud just coming and going, not quite enough to ruin the sunshine though. Into this evening, a cold night, temperatures dipping below freezing in the rural spots, and we'll probably see some mist and fog patches into tomorrow as well. So yes, a rather chilly start to the day, but again those temperatures should rise to around 7 or 8 degrees Celsius by the afternoon. Bit of a grey start with that mist. It should soon lift and clear, and I think generally a cloudier day, but still some brightness emerging into the afternoon at times. And Sunday too looking dry and bright. So all in all, it's going to be a fabulous weekend of weather with temperatures around or just slightly above average for this time of year, and some decent sunny spells around as well. I should mention that on Sunday we will see an easterly breeze, making it feel, yes, a touch colder, and that eventually will usher in some cooler air into next week, so possibly turning wintry again into the middle end of next week. That is a possibility, I'm afraid, but until then it'll be mostly dry and fine. That's the forecast. Enjoy your day.
There are so many ways to listen to Three Counties Radio. On FM 95.5, 103.8 and 104.5. On AM 630 and 1161. Online at bbc.co.uk/Three Counties. And now on DAB Digital Radio. Search for us, BBC 3CR. Bringing local radio to you in more ways than ever. BBC Three Counties Radio. Love mornings.
Love Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
I've enjoyed this morning. Only 12 minutes left of our live broadcast. If you want to see pictures of the last 24 hours, or rather 23 hours and 48 minutes, facebook.com/BBC3CR. You get to see a picture of me wearing a snazzy red jacket, which looks very cool. Now, a major police operation will get underway in Luton tomorrow ahead of the FA Cup tie between Luton Town and Millwall. Bedfordshire Police say around 300 officers will be used to police the fifth round game, including officers at train stations approaching the town. Well, Chief Superintendent Mike Colburn is with me live. Good morning, Chief Superintendent. I was worried when I saw you that you kept tapping your watch, and I thought, oh, he's going to ask us to move. This is all going to get a bit nasty. I didn't realise you were the guests that we were speaking to this morning.
No, I wasn't going to move you on. Absolutely not.
How many extra police were you looking at for this game tomorrow?
Well, we put out these kind of operations on a fairly routine basis now, because we get lots of high-profile teams coming to Luton. We're going to be looking at about 300-ish police officers, a few more in reserve. There will be a mixture of just your local police officers that you normally see in the police community offices, as well as public order and British Transport Police staff who are going to be dedicated. So you're going to see us. It's going to be a very visible operation.
Just some of the police are obviously going to be in the stadium, so they look at this as like, we're going to get to watch a football match and get paid for it. Is there a bit of that going on?
If only it were so. No, very much not. No, they're actually they're on duty. They're on my time. They're very professional guys. They've done this very, very often. And the anticipation is that they will be working very closely with the stewards, looking at the crowd, looking at the dynamics, making sure that we're spotting, and we have spotters that are coming up to us from London and also from Luton who will identify people who we know have had a history of disorder, who shouldn't be there, who are actually just behaving in a way that we need to put an intervention in. So the stewards will deal with them, and police officers, if required, will support.
There's been a lot of talk comparing this to the last time that Luton played Millwall in the FA Cup, when obviously it kicked off and it was a horrible, horrible event. Tomorrow's going to be fine, isn't it? It's a different world. It's a different mindset. It's going to be fine, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a really different world. I mean, that was probably the zenith of hooliganism as we know it in the United Kingdom. Really shameful and embarrassing. And I think as a country, as well as a police service, we've learned lots of lessons from that. We've got a very professional operation. As I say, we've done it many times before. Clearly, we work off the latest intelligence, the technology that we bring to bear on games like this with regard to our CCTV. So if people do something wrong, we'll either catch them at the event or retrospectively we'll arrest them, and we've done that through use of kind of rogues galleries in the past, so that works for us, and we've also got a complete sea change, I think, around the way in which we work with the football clubs. So we're working hand in glove with the stewards, with making sure we've got a good statement of intent, what we're going to do, how we're going to do it, and safety at grounds is paramount.
The away fans, have they got one or two pubs that are kind of exclusively for them?
Absolutely, yes. The Deja Vu Club and also Charlie Brown's are going to be earmarked exclusively for away fans. Clearly, there's a very short period of time for them to get a drink or to congregate together and bond prior to the game because you've got an early kick-off at 12:45. So we're really asking people, if they're coming to Luton, to get here early. We're looking at licensing periods between 10 and 11, so there's a short period for them to get together, maybe have a drink or two, and then we'll escort them into the ground and bring them back safely again afterwards.
This is my first ever football match. I've never been to one. I'm going to one tomorrow. I'm going to be all right, and it's going to be safe, isn't it? You boys will look after me.
Absolutely. As I say, it's something that we've done day in, day out on a number of matches, and it's something that is very well rehearsed. Unfortunately, I must say that there are always a number of people who we term risk supporters who unfortunately don't come with that same intent of enjoying what is going to be a great game, which is a really good sporting occasion, and they're the people that we would like any intelligence on, anybody to tell us if they're concerned about the behaviours of people turning up, and then we'll deal with them. We will actually deal with them robustly.
It's sold out. If people haven't got a ticket, what's your advice to them?
Don't come. Absolutely don't come. If you haven't got a ticket, don't turn up. In the past, people have tried to. They've tried to get in through the turnstiles. They've tried to turn up with all sorts of ruses to get in. There will be a very effective filtering
Are they saying
operation.
things like, the dog ate my ticket? Is that kind of nonsense?
Well, I hope not, because we wouldn't accept that with your school homework, so we're certainly not going to accept that in terms of getting into the game.
I've got to ask you, what football team do you support?
Unfortunately, I tend to support a game that's played with a different shaped ball. But having said that, Luton is very much in my heart in terms
Get
of
off my bus.
how they work.
Out. Kelly, can you escort this gentleman off? Go on, off my bus. Listen, very nice to meet you. Best of luck tomorrow. Thank you very much for coming in and for loitering with us and protecting us this morning. Cheers. Lovely to see you.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Excellent stuff. Chief Superintendent Mike Colburn. We're going to go now to Justin Dealey, who I think is with a Luton fan. Justin, is that right?
Yes, Ian, that's absolutely correct. I'm here with John. John, massive game tomorrow. The FA Cup, the 5th round. Of course, if Luton win, it's the quarter-finals. As a big hatter, can they do it tomorrow? What do you think?
Yeah, I think so, I predict Luton 2-1.
2-1. Everyone this morning, all Luton supporters, are saying they're going to win. Just talking to the police there, you were there back in 1985, an utterly terrifying night. Again, you're convinced this won't be happening tomorrow. It's a very, very different world now compared to 85.
Yeah, I believe so. You've got all the CCTV now. I think the police will have it well policed, same as they do when the EDL marches occur here. I'm quite confident of that.
And the atmosphere inside the ground tomorrow, let's be completely honest about it, it's going to be absolutely incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, it will be. I like the old days.
And if Luton do get through, who do you fancy in the quarter-final?
Well, it depends who's left, as long as it's a big side.
Manchester United away?
Away, yeah.
Oh, that'd be lovely.
Yeah.
John, enjoy the weekend. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks.
Interesting there again, Ian. That was John, who was there back in 1985. A lot of people, of course, will always make that comparison. It's the FA Cup, Luton Millwall in 85. Yes, there was trouble. That was a long, long time ago. And as you mentioned there with the police, let's not forget Luton have played Millwall many, many times since 1985. There hasn't been any trouble at all. This game is going to be high profile, but the police with the officers, hopefully everything will be under control. And we, going together, of course...
We're going on a mandate!
Yes, we should be enjoying a good game of football, and that's what this is all about, the football.
Shall I bring... Do you want me to bring a packed lunch? Do you want some hula hoops?
Oh, you haven't been to football before, have you?
Got some penguin biscuits?
No. Oh, we're taking you, hopefully, to the Chippy, if we get time. So, chips before the game, loads of salt and vinegar, nice can of Coke, and then into the ground.
Well, listen, it's not the only game that's happening tomorrow as well. There is another equally important game. MK Dons take on Barnsley at home tomorrow in the 5th round of the FA Cup. 3 p.m. kick-off. Ex-chairman of MK Dons and big fan Roger Whittaker joins me now. How big a game is this for you, Roger?
Oh, morning, Ian. It's a really fantastic game. I think everyone's up for the cup, as they say, and there is still something very, very special about the FA Cup. So, really looking forward to it, and hopefully, a really good opportunity for the Dons to progress into the quarter-finals.
How do you rate Barnsley as competition?
Well, the interesting thing was earlier in the year, of course, they weren't doing very well. It looked like they were, looking at sort of potential relegation. But in recent games, under new management, they seem to be doing very well. I think they've won most of their recent games. So obviously, that is a bit of a worry in that sense. But obviously, we've got the home, the home advantage in that respect. And I think if the Dons get back to the way they can play, like we did at Queen's Park Rangers, I think we're in with a really good chance of getting through to the next round.
Hey, listen, Roger, all of you football people have been wimping out of this morning. I want numbers. What's your score prediction, please?
Right, I'm going to be positive for the Dons and say a 2-1 win to the Dons. Luke Chadwick, who's back from injury, he's going to be our real big hero tomorrow. Gary McKenzie at the back, he's absolutely fantastic. I think the lads are going to be really, really up for the game.
Fantastic stuff. Best of luck, Roger. Thank you very much. Wouldn't it be exciting, Justin, if both teams got through? If MK Dons and Luton both got through?
Oh, it'd be fantastic. Not only because it would be great for the local teams, but the money as well. And talk about Manchester United away there. Yep. Both clubs will make a lot of money from that. But I think there'll be a lot of people who get very excited about MK Dons versus Luton in the quarter-final of the FA Cup. Be magnificent.
I can't look into your eyes too long because I start to fall in love with you. We've been talking about annoying songs. Bart's in Hemel. Bart, what song is the most annoying song in the world, please?
Hello.
Bart?
Mark.
Hello, Bart. What's the most... what, Mark?
Mark, yeah, that's right. Biggest to me, mates.
What? Yeah, who's typed the word Bart? Look, don't just change it on my screen now to Mark. It says...
Oh, thank you.
Just to keep things easy, can I call you Bart? Would that be okay?
That was a version of that.
What's the most annoying song in the world then, Mark?
Yes, mate, yeah. I mean, it's one of these ones that you can't get out of your head and you have to sing it as well. It's annoying. Do you want me to sing it for you?
Yes, please. I want to end the show with you singing this song. Away you go.
All right then, mate. Save your love, my darling, save your love. But how annoying was that song?
Renee and Renata, all the kids, all the 15-year-olds working on the show in the bus are going, oh, what's that? What's that song? Renee and Renata, classic.
Well, and the tacky video, mate, and all.
Where she throws the rose at him.
That's the one, mate. What a minger she was, wasn't she?
Bart, a.k.a. Mark in Hemel, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ian.
We can't end... Yeah, here we go. Good lad. We can't end the show by saying that Renata was a minger, for goodness sakes. Let's have a little bit more respect. Well, there we go. That's it. We have managed to stumble, sometimes run, sometimes slip through 24 hours of live broadcast here on BBC 3CR to celebrate the fact that we are now live on DAB radio, and what a joy it is to be broadcasting in crystal clear quality. Good work to everybody who took part in the last 24 hours. A big round of applause for everybody. Silently, let's not do it... Kelly, let's not do it literally. Thanks very much. Let's get the travel news now. Sophie Tyler.
Beds, Hearts and Bucks travel.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Starting clockwise on the M25, still looking slow between 24 at Potters Bar and 25 at the A10 for Enfield. Southbound on the Barnet Bypass, also queuing between Stirling Corner and Mill Hill Circus. And the A10 heading south, also queuing at the moment between the Great Cambridge Road at Turnford and Winston Churchill Way. Going to take you around quarter of an hour to get through that stretch. Elizabeth Way heading east through Harlow, also still blocked following an accident between Flex Meadow and St Catherine's Way. And also on First Capital Connect services, delays of 15 minutes possible between Luton and St Pancras following the earlier overhead line problems at Radlett. Sophie Tyler, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much, Sophie. Thank you to everyone who made this possible this morning. There's Ollie, and there's Laura, and there's Laura, and there's Kelly Betts, and there's Dealey, and there's Gareth, and everybody who helped pull this one out of the bag. Back into normal studio situation on Monday. JVS is up next. Ta-ta.
Getting beds, hearts and bugs talking.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Ian. Good morning. Welcome to the JVS show. I'm Jonathan Vernon-Smith. It's Friday, and coming up on today's Big Phone-In, I'm asking, is there anything that can be done to stop dog attacks? MPs have accused